risk.
Yeah.
I mean, that's you're taking a risk.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly that process, but I know these invitationals, these camps that they get invited to is where they really get graded and feedback and information, and then you got to do the best with that information.
One more question for you. Is there anything more worthless than the NBA Combine, in your opinion?
Probably not. I mean, there might be a story though in there that.
Yeah.
There might be a story that somebody was found.
Well, I
mean, listen, I don't think the real combine's any good. So
Taco Ball has like all the crazy measurements. Like that was cool to see. But I mean, from the aspect of all right, so the guy can run sideline to sideline the whole court really fast. Good for him. Like I'm sure if you put James Harden or Giannis's numbers there, they're probably not the fastest guys. But guess what? They're some of the best NBA players in the league. So I just wonder how much scouts and everything they put into that NBA Combine.
Yeah. So anyway, Adrian Nebhardt's coming back to the Florida Gators. I think that's a big win. There's some big stars in recruits for Florida Gators and Mike White. White, I like him a lot. I've been a big fan of Mike White, so I think he's done a good job there. And I think they're on the verge of doing some pretty good things. They went to that one Elite Eight under him, but I think they're on the verge of the next couple of years. I think it's a great window for Mike White and the Florida Gators, and I think Andrew Nebhard staying is a really big deal for the Florida Gators, so that's a good thing for them. All right, before the break, I asked this question. Give me your guys that you said you wanted to see win the Stanley Cup.
So, Henrik Lundqvist, goalie from the New York Rangers. One of the best goalies of all time. Has definitely paid his dues. He's definitely up there in age now. Had one shot, I believe, and I'm going way back now. I think it was 2003 or 4. Don't quote me on it, but they played the LA Kings. The Kings beat them, I want to say, in a 4-1 series. So I want to see, especially Henrik Lundqvist, the goalie position, kind of the captain of the team, if you will. I want to see him win one, and then Joe Thornton, Joe Pavelski. Joe Pavelski from the point where I grew up next to him. He's from Clover, Wisconsin, the captain of the San Jose Sharks. A real gritty player, guy that got a couple teeth knocked out and stayed in the game. And then Joe Thornton, another guy who's been doing it forever as well, who on the San Jose Sharks. So I want to see them both win.
All right, so that's some guys that you'd like to see get the raise the cup.
Well, then the biggest name was Alex Ovechkin. He finally got it last year.
So that prompted me to think, who in sports do we root for to win? Like Ovechkin was cool. I could care less. I could care less about Washington Capitals, and quite frankly, I usually could care less about hockey.
Sure.
But it was cool to see Alex Ovechkin
win.
Yeah,
I mean, from being the best player in the league for so long, finally paying his dues and everything. Yeah, it was cool to see that.
Yeah, that's always. I think we appreciate that stuff.
Like, you respect it. Yeah.
Especially guys that you really respect. And I think if you play for 15, 16, 17 years, most guys are pretty well respected by that point. Whether it's talent, just he's a cool guy, whatever, or a great teammate, or a role player, or a leader, or a captain, whatever it might be.
And that's the thing with hockey, too, where, there's two types of respect. I mean, there's respect for a guy who's been doing it forever, who you finally want to see him win one because he's paid his dues. And then there's respect where this guy's so talented that he deserves a win. And with Alex Ovechkin, I mean, last year he was playing some of the best hockey he's ever played. And same thing with this year. I think he had the most point total in the regular season that he's ever had. So he's still playing at a very high level. He's got his years in as well. So it's kind of a gold aspect.
All right, so let's go to other sports. Let's start with the NFL. Who would you love to see win a championship that has won? I'll go first.
Yeah, please go first. Let me get some time.
Phillip Rivers.
That's what I was going to say.
Right? I mean, Phillip Rivers is a guy that if you don't like... First of all, how many people don't like the Chargers? I mean, I'm sure people in Oakland and maybe Kansas City and Denver, because it's their division.
Sure.
But there doesn't seem like this natural hate for the San Diego, now LA Chargers. Now, Rivers can be one of those pissy guys. So I think he annoys people sometimes.
Yeah.
But I also believe if you read about Phillip Rivers, he's like one of the nicest guys going. And so I would say Phillip Rivers is probably close to the top of my list, if not at the top of my list of NFL guys. That would be pretty cool to see win.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's kind of a no-brainer, right? Like, I was thinking other guys like Cam Newton, I'm kind of indifferent towards him.
Right?
No, I don't. Well,
doesn't it feel like it has to be an older guy?
How many older guys are there that haven't won one? That's what I'm trying to think. Like, there's not too many of them,
I wonder if someday... I'm
going
to tell you one that, and this is not going to make Jags fans very happy, but I wonder if you get to a point where a guy like J.J. Watt you know, if he gets close, where people would kind of root for him toward the end of his career to win one because he's been so successful, right? He's almost, I think he's 8 sacks away from 100 sacks. He'd be the fastest guy to do it. But here's again, it's tough to swallow around here. I understand that. I'm not saying I'm rooting for it, but I wonder he's a big name. All the stuff he did with nothing in Houston.
Yeah.
I think he would become a good story if they were to go deep into the postseason, which, by the way, I think they might have missed their window over the last couple of years.
We'll see. You know, I think it's kind of a different thing, too, as well, because he's playing defense. You know, and with all due respect to the position I played, I feel like all the glory kind of falls on the quarterback.
You're complaining.
I'm complaining.
Yeah.
How am I complaining?
Well, you just want more glory, sounds like.
No, I'm saying I think all the glory falls on the quarterback. I mean, we talk quarterbacks all the time. How many times do we use the narrative? Finally, this defensive end wins the Super Bowl. How many defensive ends are shouting, "I'm going to Disneyland"? Not too many.
But who celebrates more on a football field than like a pass rusher? A receiver? That's about it.
Some quarterback, Cam Newton. Cam Newton celebrates more than anybody.
All right, but not
Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes got some celebrations.
Ryan Davis is taking stuff.
But what do you say? You think defensive ends celebrate more than anybody? First of all, I think wide receivers celebrate more than anybody because every time there's a first down, there's a celebration. That'd be like a defensive end making a tackle, just like a basic standard routine tackle for plus 2 yards, and they celebrate. So don't ever say that defensive end or defensive tackle celebrate the most, man. You gotta stay in the lane on that one.
Yeah, not defensive tackles. They're too fat usually.
Oh wow, Aaron Donald says, "What's up, dude?" Aaron Donald says, "You talking about me, bro?"
Not me. That was Austin.
Okay.
Or Coots. We'll blame him. How about a guy like Frank Gore? He hasn't won.
That's a good call. Man, has he won one?
I don't think he's won.
He's been around like he has one.
I feel like he's everybody's grandfather.
Yeah. Frank Gore is a great call. A guy who's still doing it. I think Sproles won one, didn't he?
With the Saints?
I think so.
Yeah, when he was on the Saints still.
Yeah, okay. So Sproles has his. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a guy like Frank Gore, and I forgot what the record is for rushing, but isn't he top 5?
Well, he's top. I think. I thought I saw it the other day. He was like 230 yards away from 4th all time.
Okay, yeah. So go ahead and get that dude a Super Bowl.
And you know what's crazy about that too? This is a little tangential here, but if I asked you to name the top 15 running backs, top 10 running backs, top 20 running backs,
Gore's not touching that list.
You won't get to Frank Gore until like number 73. I mean, I don't even know where it'd be.
Not even close.
But longevity does mean something, and obviously to be top 5 rushing all time, it's pretty unbelievable.
It's a testament to him too, because his running style was not necessarily really finesse. I mean, the dude took some hits, and he was not afraid to lower his shoulders. So the fact that he's been able, I guess, to find the fountain of youth, if you will, for this long, I think we need to like sample some of his blood or something and start like dosing it to other players because it's insane what that guy's been doing for so long.
I feel like you just went Lance Armstrong blood doping.
Yeah, well, there's no blood testing right now in the NFL, so get it while you can.
Yeah, I guess so.
Until that new CBA comes out.
Advocate of the CBA. I want to talk about the CBA a little bit today.
Okay.
But let's think about some other sports as we go along, and where else could you root for guys to win, regardless of the team. You just root for guys to win. And maybe even there's a coach or two in the NFL like that. But other sports as well, from Major League Baseball to the NBA. We'll stay on the topic, get some of your thoughts as well. 904-362-9901. We're at the golf club at Southampton. Had a little fun on the golf course today. Fantastic, beautiful day. Course in good shape. And if you want to hit it a long way with all the hot temperatures, well, you can. It's firm and fast. 240-yard drive might go 270 now.
Don't talk to me unless you're in the 300s.
I doubt you got there today.
You'd be surprised, honestly. Did you see my videos?
300 yards right or left.
Start calling me Choo Choo Rockefeller. All aboard the Long Ball Express, baby.
Hey, hang with us. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690, live from St. Augustine on a Wednesday afternoon.
And Goose, you're not supposed to putt with the glove on, I guess.
Yeah. Is that what everyone's saying?
Yeah.
You guys saw
You're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing. People are shaking the park.
Freaks out. They're expecting you. You guys had fun? Yeah, no, good. It was good.
Yeah, but I was playing well.
I'm gonna start sending pictures.
Did he say he's been playing? Yeah, he said he's been playing well. Yeah, he and his buddy actually played here last week. Yeah. So
I think his buddy works here.
doesn't I'm pretty sure. His buddy was getting lots of good
The guy Baloo was playing with, does he work here?
Mike, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, does he?
Yes.
He gave a lot of good reads.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't give us any reads. I'm like,
Mike
what's
plays a lot of golf.
going on, man? Why are we getting the reads that he's getting?
You want Yes Family?
All right, man. So you good over there?
Yeah.
Check.
And, rock and roll.
Cool.
Appreciate you putting all this together.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Norman Reedus.
Love to. Yeah.
I gotta get that club back, right?
Yes.
In the back of my car.
Okay.
So it just goes in your set.
It's poppers.
Oh, it's poppers.
Yeah. That's his poppers.
Hey, come on over, Derek, so we get you out of here.
Sounds good. Right, you can get that with them? Perfect.
Yeah, I got that one. Who's off next to you guys later?
Yeah.
Hi, thank you. No problem.
Thank you so much.
No problem. The fans really help.
Yeah.
I swear this works really well.
Yeah. It's funny, you know, we're having a play today, and it's like, hey, the damn cloud in the sky. Not a
I like that.
There's one right there now, but it's a teeny tiny little guy. Holy
I was reading that JA introduced some water pressure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just trying to circle one.
Yeah. Well, I know yesterday, like, I don't think it rained out here yesterday, but
It is.
Oh, did it rain?
Got it. Yeah, right where it looked like.
yeah. Dude, well, I don't think it was supposed to really rain at all yesterday, and all of a sudden it's like, all of Duval County was covered in a severe thunderstorm. It was, except my house. And my house didn't get a single drop of rain.
2 weeks ago, it was perfect. And like every day, we only know 2 months before.
Yeah.
We got to do it by zone. We can't even run a full system at once.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Well, then you gotta, what?
Hey, welcome back to Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. Scott, how you doing back there? Good. I just slid in my chair, heard the music, and I was like, oh, I guess we're probably back on. I forgot to put the headphones on for a second headset. This is a good beat. What is this, Austin?
I would say James Brown.
No, it's not. It's not James Brown.
Gotcha. What was it?
Who was it?
Is that what it was?
What does that mean?
Oh, do we know who's saying it? Well, get on up. What does that mean, bro? That's a James Brown song.
No, I mean, what? Do we know if that was James Brown or not?
Oh. Was it James Brown? Okay. We'll go ahead and say it was James Brown.
We're going to go back to the bed music versus bumper music conversation.
Yep.
There on a Wednesday. I mean, I think we killed that conversation with that a couple of weeks ago. Or at the PGA Tour Superstore, by the way. We do have a special guest with us right now. Unfortunately, he couldn't play today. Or fortunately for him, because it wouldn't have probably been very fun. Derek DeStefano from the golf club at Southampton having us out today and having a little fun with the media. I think the course survived. That's the good news, my friend.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure to always have you guys out here, and that day on the golf course is always a lot better than being in the office, I can tell you that.
Yeah. How are you guys doing? We were out. There's a little secret here. Ty and I might have played 27 holes today.
Yeah, that's a little excessive, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, Ty wanted to play 9 holes. We didn't know if we had enough room for Ty to kind of jump in.
Yep.
And then we had one extra, so then I dropped back into another group, and then so Ty played, and then we just went and grabbed his friend too, so he played. So we ended up playing more golf than he thought.
It's kind of cheating, isn't it?
I don't need to cheat against this group. I found out because I noticed the scores.
I think you needed the extra 9 to beat Ty for the day.
Probably did. Ty played well again. Ty played for the first time he played back. He played the blues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to the big leagues, Ty.
Usually plays the
It's great to have you.
So
No middle school golf team stuff going
Yeah, but when we were out there in the morning, it was almost like, I want to say soggy, but it was nice and wet and moisture because you guys were really sprinkling the heck out of it. And it's a challenge right now. There's not a lot of rain. What's going on and how stressful
It's unbelievable.
is this?
I actually just went in and mentioned to our general manager, Jim Houston, that I'm looking around on community Facebook pages around here, and they purposely reduced water pressure in the communities to conserve water because of the drought.
Did they?
Now, we're not necessarily connected to the main water reservoirs and that kind of thing with JEA, but we're limited to what we have in the ponds here. So, as far as I'm concerned, water your yard so we can have your water. And it sounds terrible, but right now we actually are maybe watering roughs every few days, just trying to keep really the tees, doing the fairways every couple days too, and the greens going. And I was just saying to the other fellas, we really have to conserve. So it's pretty amazing.
This sounds so silly to say because it's obvious, but if you really think about it and dissect it, how much the weather has to do with what you do, and you're the owner here at the golf club in Southampton, but the golf industry, and how much the weather plays a role, from being beautiful and sunny and 99 degrees to the amount of rain and how many people go on Golf Now or call for tee times. It's pretty fascinating, which also hurts my feelings a little bit because you probably care about watching Mike Burrish on TV more than me.
The weather does make a big deal, Brent, and it's from the business side of it. This winter we had too much water, so we're buying extra fungicides and things like that to take care of algae and those things that pop up. Now we're buying more wetting agents just to try and keep some moisture in the soil.
Crazy.
So
In 6 months span, right?
It's
All that.
unbelievable. Yeah. So pretty crazy, that's for sure.
So what? But I mean, I don't think we've had a measurable inch of rain in the month of May. I don't think. I think it's at like 6/10 here. I was talking to your head.
And we might have gotten 2/10 yesterday.
Did you get some?
Yeah, we did get some.
You get some?
Yeah, I remember what it was like to have it rain here.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, honestly, this golf course was lush and green, and you would have never known. And now we're doing all we can.
Yeah, and everybody's battling.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a battle all across the board. But you know what else? But here's what's going to happen. I know it's going to happen in the next. For a golfer, I've enjoyed this month because in about 2 weeks, it's going to rain. It's going to rain every freaking day for about 15 days.
Yeah, we always kind of just try and squeak through May. May's always the tough one where it's like, okay, where's the storm? Where's something major here, or just thunderstorms? And we'll just get through it.
All right, now that we're out at the golf course and you come and join us for some golf tips every couple of weeks anyway, but we get to be here in person. You guys did a lot in the last year to the practice facility.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Putting green area, bunkers, really the driving range and practice range. New shed over there, I think, for private lessons, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely.
How's this work? This is an interesting niche, right? In the
it's
golf world that we don't really see in our area.
The reinvestment that we're seeing from not just the growth of the game programs that we've implemented, but just from the business side itself, and creating fun events for our members here is really the biggest thing that we've seen. I mean, last Friday night we had a DJ out here. We had a putting competition with live announcing on the green behind us, and there was several members here. There were 60 to 80 of our members and general public people here, and just created a livening Friday night.
Yeah,
It
cool.
was fun.
You should have Austin come out, man.
Yeah,
you should
where's
see
the
him.
invite, man?
You should see him dance.
But we also
Yeah,
put lights
my
in.
golf is good.
So we put some lights in as well. And in the fall, when it gets darker, then we have our Friday Night Light series. So we'll do it close to the pin contest off the patio here to that green. Just create some excitement to come out and have some cocktails and enjoy your Friday evening.
You know what you should, if we call it Friday Night Lights, you should throw some like shoulder pads and a helmet on.
Hey, we can do that. That's a great idea.
That's one of my comfort
I did
zone.
kind of get the idea from football.
So my comfort zone right there.
Have you ever, what do you think of Austin's golf outfit today?
I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
First of all, thank you
And
very
then to
much.
add the cigarette in there, that was even better.
Thank you.
Things planned out.
Well, I was going to say, too, I apologize for the horns that you're hearing around the course today. I'm sure they're a distraction to the residents and also the employees that work here, but that Long Ball Express was working all day, baby, with a long drive. So I apologize, man, but I was in the 250, 300 range.
You must have been hitting it straight because I didn't get any phone calls today about broken windows.
I was hitting it straight. Kuz almost had a close encounter of the first time, but we're
Marcel.
okay, that was Marcel. I was trying to cover for my boy.
That's great. You guys had an awesome time at school.
I actually think, it would be pretty, they need someone like you on the golf course.
With personality?
Yeah, like,
Yeah, I know.
like, is there a golfer that actually has tattoos that you can notice?
I cannot recall
good call.
off the top of my head that you can notice.
Or dreads.
Well,
The
no,
personality
not
seemed to
dreads,
just
you're
come
right.
and fizzle out very quickly.
But even a beard.
Yeah.
We get a couple of guys. You get like, what am I missing? You got a couple of guys with beards. I'm losing
Well,
track.
JB Holmes?
JB Holmes. Very good.
Look at me digging deep into golf knowledge here.
I
would do it all.
I did not expect to lean on you for that answer.
JB Holmes, I got you, Brent. Don't worry about it. You can talk golf, man. I got your back.
That was
I think
incredible.
it's superstition to some extent for some of those guys. They come in, shave clean Monday, and then if they're playing good, it doesn't come off for a while.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. I used to be that way. I was a
Like
hockey
the
guy.
hockey
You guys
player.
know.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're the hockey
When I
dude, yeah.
started playing good, it could be 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I got to ask then one hockey question real quick. Who are we taking in the Stanley Cup final? You taking the Bruins or the Blues here?
I got to be honest with you, I have no preference.
Okay.
I
Fair
have no
enough.
preference.
No
I don't
business
care
for the
for either team.
businessman.
I am a big Red Sox fan for baseball, but I'm a Rangers guy at heart. And that was just because they had never won a cup until 94. I mean, it was forever until 94, and I was a little kid at that point. My dad likes the Islanders, so I had to go against them.
Okay.
And so, that's just kind of...
Mission accomplished there, by the way.
And moving down here is tough, but I like the Lightning. That was tough to see them exit first round. I was planning on going to some games.
I was celebrating. That's just my opinion, though. I was celebrating.
That would have been. We were thinking about going to a playoff game too. I'm not a
Yeah.
Lightning fan, but I love the atmosphere. I'd like to take the kids to a playoff hockey
hockey's
game.
so much
It's so good. So,
No preference for me. It would be cool, I guess, to see St. Louis win their first.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe that's correct. The
I'm
first
from,
ever.
yes, and
That
I'm
is correct.
from New England, man, and I'm tired
I
of
was
seeing
surprised at that.
parades in Boston. So I'm actually, I don't
Well,
know,
I'm kinda tired of
rooting
that.
for St. Louis, but I wouldn't mind seeing
Do
St.
you,
Louis.
do you think your tune would change if you actually still lived there, though? Like, would you still embrace it?
I think you wrap your arms around it. Hey, Derek Stefano from Golf Club at South End. Thanks for having us out, man.
You guys are awesome.
Appreciate it, man.
It's a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to have you. I'm glad you enjoyed your day.
We'll check in with you in a couple of weeks leading up to the U.S. Open,
Yeah.
and we'll talk to you then. But thanks too. We always say thanks to hosting the Action Sports Jacks. Dream 18, September 16th. Come on out. We'll have more information. In fact, information already up at ActionSportsJacksDream18.com. How you can register, be a part of this year's tournament, the 10th annual Action Sports Jacks Dream 18. Thanks, man.
Absolutely, guys.
All right,
Thank you.
we'll be back, and special guest when we come back. He knows everything. Little Jags, little Gators. I have no idea how he golfed today, but we're about to find out. It's coming up next on ESPN 690.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, we were like the menu board, see what's on the
Look forward to next
Oh,
time.
you're saying like,
Appreciate it. Hopefully we wouldn't put,
yeah, I'm gonna do this too.
I didn't realize it was gonna get
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
But for now, we just put it in the
So
menu.
you guys
Right now,
together, just ask for the athlete list going just from course and inside
With,
earlier. Inside
blog
earlier.
post, and then I have the embedded podcast from yesterday where we were kind of talking, and then I'll put that today as well.
Like the tabs or car attached there.
Or,
You told me how close you guys were.
like, the back hook.
The Jack.
Like purple.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He was like, it really was close. What are they? What was it? What was it? What did they do?
I don't think they hate it. No, it's like turn the engine on right now. I can hardly get them.
Oh, the signature. So the signature.
Not only that, think about the Jags. We have 40% of the market with our music stations.
Right.
You would feed into that, so it's not just Jags. That's where we think's too small. It's not just Jags. In fact, that's probably a little too Jags.
Hey, Brent, the burgers for you guys, is that individual?
I'll take it.
Nah.
No, I can,
Were you going to put it on the thing?
yeah, I'm paying for it.
All right. Yeah, well, you can give the burgers to him, but all that other stuff.
Or is it just the drinks?
Yeah.
We still have to pay 30 for the golf, too, right?
You didn't do that?
No. Just go pay for it now?
You can, if you didn't. Come on over here, Mark.
Where you at? Where you at?
Thanks, bud.
We'll
Right
put
there.
them out tomorrow, so.
Are you? For a week?
Till Tuesday. We'll come back.
Okay.
Back Monday, but
Thanks, man.
we'll golf soon.
Thanks for helping us set this up. Appreciate it.
Hey,
It was fun. It was
awesome.
perfect.
It's great having you.
Perfect.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Yeah, good having
By the way, have you met these guys? This is Justin and Nick.
Officially.
Nice to meet you.
Nick's program director.
Nice to meet you.
He's the boss.
I'll tell you one thing, the
Yeah.
thing like, the weird is that parking lot on the side of it, it's really hot. I was like, around the corner, I'm like, I'm gonna hit 7 iron, just like, because I just want to get out of the parking lot.
Those are the last parking spots to fill up.
Yeah.
People know that. I will not park.
Okay, you're out of the corner, and I said, oh, I don't like that parking lot. And Marcel's like, we talked to the line, I'll hit the 7 iron. You're my name on the puzzle, they didn't get in there.
Yeah, a little crazy day.
It would be.
So,
They went hard.
that's fine. That was fun. I don't know, he said earlier that sawgrass is harder for men, so he said maybe even a lot harder.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, dude, you got some bunkers in this place that
That's the one thing about this golf course.
yeah.
What do we cover? That I made it impossible.
You guys think it's tight. You gotta get some shots.
Fairway bunkers and ringside and stuff.
Yeah. I know.
Hey, welcome back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Thanks for hanging with us here on a Wednesday edition of the show. On the road once again. I do want to give you a little bit of a heads up for next week. Next week's going to be a cool week for us. At least we think it's cool. Hopefully you do too. But on Monday will be our 100th show. Yeah, we're counting. So we're going to celebrate a little bit. And all week long, not just on Monday, we're going to give away some $100 gift cards to listeners. So make sure you listen next week and hopefully every single day and jump in and win some cool stuff courtesy of our celebration for our 100th show, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hopefully it will be, we'll celebrate with 1,000. I'm not sure we'll be giving away a $1,000 gift card someday, but we figured what the heck out of 100. That also next week we are going to start a segment for the month of June where we check in with former Jags players. Even though we check in with a former Jags player every day on this show,
Yep.
Austin Lane.
So they're sick of me.
But the 25th season of the Jags, so in the 5 o'clock hour starting next Monday, we are going to check in with a different Jags player every single show. Next Monday it will be Jimmy Smith to lead us off. So more information to come on all of that, but we're having some fun in the month of June with the Jaguars and also celebrating a little bit of a milestone here on ESPN 690. Speaking of having some fun, this guy always has some fun. Joined by the Associated Press's Mark Long right now, and he played in our little golf event today, whatever the heck we're calling it. Have we come up with a name for this thing? I have no idea what to call it.
I think the Brent Martineau Invitational.
Yeah,
Sounds good,
tell us
especially since
that.
you won it.
I mean, I'm in for that, Brent. That's good for like some kind of cure or something like that, right? Like the Brent Martineau tour for something.
What do you want to cure?
I don't know, man. What are you into?
Everything.
What are you into, man? I don't care.
What did you say, Scott? Cure for boring Wednesdays.
There we go.
Wednesdays without Jags. We'll find a cure for it somehow or another. But it was a lot of fun. Hope you guys played. You had Mark Long, Mike DeRocco,
Gary Spitz and
Gary
Tad
Spitz
Dickman.
and Tad Dickman
I
from the
rode with
Jags.
Tad.
How was?
Teacher's pet.
Yeah, very good. I'm gonna get some inside info.
A little bit, but nothing I can share, but always a little bit.
I'll buy you a drink.
You're not
later.
doing a good job if you're not getting a little bit.
You guys had a good group, though? I mean, you were about 25 minutes ahead of us, so I had no idea how you guys played.
Dickman played really well, shot an 87, I shot 89.
Very good. You only engaged that day.
Yes, and then DeRocco and Smitter were bringing up the rear. I've known Smitter for 15 years. The worst I've ever seen him shoot. He shot a 115. So,
Nobody really covers golf better than Gary Smith in Jackson.
he used to be a 12 to 14 handicap. He used to be, shooting the 80s every time I played with him.
And I love Gary. I would call him Gary because he's got 2 R's. But I don't understand how a guy that covers that much golf can have a swing that looks like it.
Oh, it's not good?
It's not good. But he says you've had wrist surgery and he's had 2 shoulder injuries, and it's hard to get the club up.
Yeah,
right?
so there you go. That's
Some
fair.
shoulder issues.
So you guys had some fun.
And he's 62 years old, so there's that.
There he is. He's young.
60, I think he might be 63.
Spunky 63.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Hey, Adrian Edwards coming back. You cover the Gators. You bounce back between the Gators and the Jaguars and a bunch of different stuff for the Associated Press. Not surprising, I don't think, in my mind. How about in yours?
No, it's not surprising. It was obviously the logical choice when he didn't get invited to the NBA Combine. You kind of had a sense that that's wherever this thing was headed. But if you talk to Mike White, he'll tell you he had no idea. The kid's dad is very involved, and the kid's dad had big expectations for him. And I think they came to school thinking they were one and done. And the dad wanted him to go explore this thing, use the rules to his advantage, and I think it makes sense because when he does go pro, whether it's next year, the year after, or whenever, he'll have gone through all this.
Yeah,
So you've experienced the NBA at least working out for teams. Now, he did go to the G League Developmental Combine, which was right before the NBA Combine, and then he worked out, as recently as yesterday, he worked out in LA for a number of NBA teams. So he got in front of teams, he showed them what he's capable of. You look at him, he's 6'5", got all the passing prowess of anybody in college basketball. Really good kid. Late in the season, he started shooting the ball a little bit better. But he obviously has areas that he needs to work on. I think he averaged 8 points, 5.9 rebounds, and 2.9 assists, 5.9 assists and 2.9 rebounds. So he's got some areas of his game that he works on, but when you look at him, he's an unbelievable passer. He's got the size, 6'5", and if he shoots a little bit better, he'll be an NBA player. I don't think there's any doubt.
Absolutely. I think the question is, when you have the talents of this guy, the vision and the size from that position, I think you wonder, can he get to be a lottery pick? Can he be a top 10, top 15 pick in the NBA draft? Whether it's 2 years from now or next year, does he have that in him in Europe?
I think he does. I think when you see a guy at his size, 6'5", point guard, with his passing ability, you think absolutely if he can shoot. He's got to shoot the ball. A little better. He shot 41% from the floor, I think 37% from three-point range. Much better later in the year from three-point range. He's got a little bit of an unorthodox shot, but it's good enough that they're not going to tweak with it. I certainly think he's got the ability to step up there. I think he could be a 3 or 4 year guy, and I think that would only help him get to that level. I'm not sure in one more year with the talent they've got coming in, I'm not sure he's going to get enough shots to be a lottery pick next year. Passing's a premium in the NBA. It's a up and down sport that if you can play the point, if you're 6'5", you can play the point, you can shoot a little bit and distribute the ball. That's where the game's at nowadays.
Yeah, you just mentioned something. Let's say he stays for 2 more years, which I think would be great for Mike White, because I think this next 2 years is a big time opportunity in their window with the recruits they've got coming in. I mean, they've got 5 stars and they're 4 stars, and they've got a lot of talent now. Do you agree?
I think they're a Final Four contender right now.
Right
with
now.
him coming back next year, I think when you give the nucleus that they've got coming back, the guys they ran off, and then the guys they got coming in, Trey Mann, Scotty, what can I think of Scotty's name? Anyway, it's Mike White's best recruiting class coming in with Omar Payne, Trey Mann, and Scotty. I was calling him Scotty, and those 3 guys are two McDonald All-Americans. So you've got the people there, and that's only going to help them. And you throw in those 3 guys that they return. And
Scotty Lewis, I'm sorry.
Scotty Lewis, thank you, sir. Scotty Lewis, McDonald's All-American, Scotty Lewis. Trey Mann, McDonald's All-American. So you got two McDonald's guys, and then you got those 3 guys from last year who are going to be the nucleus of this team. You hope that you get Isaiah Stokes. You hope that Gorjan Gak, maybe those 2 guys take a step coming back, and all of a sudden you've got a pretty good team right there that's 1 through 5 as good as anybody probably in the SEC.
Yeah, and I like Mike White. I said it earlier when we were talking about Network coming back, but I think this is a golden opportunity. I didn't Final Four, we'll see, but I do think the next 2 years are big. You've been on every Jags practice. What's your take so far? Obviously, the absence of Nick Foles, I don't really think there's much to discuss there. But what's your take overall of these first 4 practices, and what should we get excited about with the Jags and overhyped and then possibly be disappointed?
Well, it's really hard. It's really hard, and I think Austin would verify this. It's really hard to gauge a lot on the lines of scrimmage when you're in, underwear, as Doug Marone calls it. It's just, you really can't tell. And I love that one-on-one drills are the best drills, offensive line, defensive line, are the best drills of training camp. You don't see any of that this time of year. So anything in the trenches, I just kind of throw out. And to me, it's passing practice. It's, so I think you can see a little bit from the quarterback, but I look at receivers, DBs. That's where I look. Maybe even the receivers more than anything. To me, 2 guys who stood out: Keelan Cole and then Josh Oliver. I think Josh Oliver, until yesterday, he had a false start and drop. Until yesterday, I thought he'd been the best rookie and maybe one of the best players out there on the field the first three practices. And then Keelan Cole had a really good day yesterday. I thought he was unbelievable, caught everything thrown his way, was a real key target for them. And I think that's unbelievably promising because I'm not sure how good this receiving corps is. I think they had a chance to be really good, but I know that if they're going to be really good, Keelan Cole's got to be part of it.
The biggest thing I think with Josh Oliver going forward here too is once the pads do come on, if he still keeps showing up, because kind of the knock on Josh Oliver coming out of college, and granted, he's in a tight end position, which is it's kind of new to him. He was recruited as a defensive end, so he has that defensive end outside linebacker mentality, which I like in a tight end because that means he's not afraid to hit somebody. So I'm really curious to see if he has to work on his blocking a little bit and if he can be a complete tight end because he was brought to Jacksonville and drafted as the receiving threat, which we've been kind of seeing in OTAs a little bit. But I'm curious to see if he take the next step and actually be a dual threat guy, or it doesn't be a dual threat guy, just a guy that can be consistent in the run blocking as a tight end because you don't have to blow guys off the line. I mean, there's plenty of tight ends in the league right now that are finesse type players that can zone block. So if Oliver can do that, he might be starting right off the bat.
It's huge if he can block. That's the thing. The expectations for him to block for me are unbelievably low.
Exactly.
I think he can be effective if he can be a pass catching tight end for this team. But I do think if he can develop that other side of the game, which is important, absolutely important, if he can kind of hone those skills and take that step, then he's going to be a real threat. But I think, to me, his hands, his ability, his athletic ability, all that, the way he runs, have just been spot on through 4 practices.
And especially as a guy you can see in the red zone, being in that red zone threat, something that's kind of been lacking in Jacksonville a little bit. So I think, if you get down to the goal line and you want to do a play action with Fournette, throw it up to Oliver, man. I think he's going to go get it.
And then you throw in the fact that Nick Foles has a history of playing well with the tight end,
Of course.
finding his tight ends, dumping the ball off, the running back tight ends. I mean, that only plays to his advantage for coming into the system.
And I'm not sure you can play with a better offensive coordinator in the NFL right now if you're tight end.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Yeah, love him.
So, yeah, and he loves him, and he's got, the experience. So, when you go back and Zach Ertz, some of these guys just, that's what you gotta hope that Josh Oliver, let's not say he's going to be Travis Kelce or Zach Ertz, but you hope that he gets the opportunity that those guys got early in their careers because of Nick Foles, because of their offensive coordinator.
Let me ask this quick question. You mentioned Nick Foles throwing to the running backs. He had Sproles back in the day. He had a lot of great receiving running backs. I mean, aside from Fournette, do you see another running back right now that can you bring on a third down and catch some balls?
I don't actually. It's funny. I thought Benny Cunningham was that guy, and he's missed all 4 OTAs because of injuries and working on the side. So I'm not sure who their third down back. I know they think Leonard Fournette can be a 3-down back, and I'm sure they hope that you take a guy 4th overall. You hope he can be all 3 downs. I know this. I know that watching Leonard for 3 years now, 2.5 years, all those questions about his pass catching ability were overrated. The guy's got good hands. He's got good vision. He can go get a ball. He can get a ball that's not perfectly thrown, and he's really good with once he gets the ball in his hands in the open field. So, but to your point, I think Benny Cunningham is that guy. To be a 3rd down, change of pace kind of guy, just got to get him on the field.
Scott tried to play us out to break, and we totally ignored it. So we got to go to break. But one quick restart that music. Thanks, Scott. One player will emerge at wide receiver. We were actually having this conversation, I think, yesterday on the bleachers watching practice. Who's your guy, if you have to pick, has the most receptions on this receiving corps? We're going to talk about it next, too.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Chris Conley. I just think he watch the guy. He just looks the part. He looks like a pro. He gets in and out of his breaks. He's got great hands. I haven't seen him drop a ball yet. He really looks like what you wanted Moncrief to be last year. He looks like he's got a better chance to be that this year.
Yeah, there's a lot to like about Chris Conley, and I'm sure you've talked to him, too. He's a great guy to talk to. And the guy A.J. Boye mentioned yesterday as someone who's impressed him right away.
A real pro, and that's what I think this team lacked the last couple of years. And you look at who they brought in, when you talk about Nick Foles, talk about Chris Conley, talk about Benny Cunningham, some of those guys, they brought in a lot of real pros, mature guys.
Especially on that side of the ball.
Yeah.
Mark Long, good to catch up with you, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming out today to Southampton, playing some golf as well. We'll be back on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Talk more about that receiving corps next.
I try not to rip too much because I love Blake. And I'll try not to. Leonard has got his flaws, but Leonard and Jalen, again, Jalen's a fantastic player. But you got two immature guys there, Leonard and Jalen. And I think they made a concerted effort to go out and get more maturity for both sides of the ball. And I think that's why Jawan Taylor was a good pick for them. It's a really mature kid. Certainly Nick Foles.
Yeah, even put a draft.
Josh Allen, I mean, my God. Josh Allen, you talk to him, he's 32. I mean,
Oliver's a pretty solid guy.
yes. I think they just said, listen, we're going to really put a little more emphasis on character than they have in the past. And maybe they just got lucky. Maybe just fell,
Might have fell.
and they got lucky the right way.
But I think you're right. I
But,
think
they
it's obvious
could've
with
done
the
a
draft
lot.
class, too. Even Quincy Williams, good guy.
Yeah.
They talk about how good of a guy he is. So, yeah, I think there's an element of that for sure.
And then you said the draft was thrown out free agency too, because I think Nick is the
Yes, and Conley.
Oh yeah, and I think
Trey signed Conley up for something.
oh he's unbelievable. He really is
a
unbelievable.
little afraid because he's a third.
There's something
You know,
different
it's
about
still
third
like,
versus the other.
it's an NFL.
Was it Monday night show?
Like a third guy.
Jim Montgomery
Maybe
tried
a
to
guy.
come through?
This offense.
Nah, he was fine.
See, I'm not convinced that he's the one. I see him as a slot. I still see him as a slot. I do think you're going to find some guys, 4 guys, maybe 5, maybe tight end, running back, 5 or 6 guys between 40 and 60 catches.
Yeah. Is that kind of like LA? The Reds a little bit like that.
They had 2 guys with 1,200 yards, bro. Last year.
Brandon Cooks.
Oh, Cooks
had that many yards?
Cooks and maybe not Cooks. Might have been Cup.
Oh, Cooper Cup. He got hurt though.
Then
Oh, he did, but it was
maybe it was.
It was late.
They both had 1,200 yards.
Wow, I didn't realize it that much.
It's funny, Duraco and I sat in the room the other day trying to go through what is this
Seattle.
receiving for? What is this? Seattle was one, and there was another one. I'm trying to think what it was. But we found a couple where we were like, that's what this receiving for.
Or you try to compare the team.
Well, just like 6. I think this team has a chance to have 6 guys when you throw in running back, tight end with 40 to 60 catches. I don't think they're going to have a guy with 90 catches. I just think this is what they're going to be. I think they're going to be fine.
I agree with that. I just think a lot. I'll take 75.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure yet. All right, guys.
Appreciate you.
Austin. See you.
We'll see you out there tomorrow.
Yep.
Drive safe.
Thank you.
You going home, right?
Yeah.
That's good. You got some vacation
See
coming
the
up?
kids. I do right after.
Minicamp?
Yep.
Good.
I'll be off till I'll go to Daytona and then I'll come back and be off till training camp.
Awesome. Cool.
All right. See you.
Bud.
Because you working on the blog?
Well, yeah, I'm working on it.
Hey, Scott, don't be afraid to let me know if we're coming up on a break. If I lose track of time. Oh, if you're watching on the video feeds, Austin Lane getting into this.
Come on, Peter Gabriel, let's go, man.
He is
Come on, Peter
digging
Gabriel.
what Scott is playing.
Little Peter Gabriel. Is it really Clapton? What one Eric Clapton one was it?
You know what I really
I
wish?
was way off.
I wish I was talented enough to be
I
able
thought it
to
was
fire
Sledgehammer.
back at you that. But I just had no idea either.
Are you sure it's not Sledgehammer?
He's going to die on this hill.
Dang. I will die on the hill all day.
Good to have Mark Long stop by from the Associated Press. He goes out to the Jags all the time. Obviously knows the Gators well, too. And I always see him down at the NASCAR stuff at Daytona. So he covers a little bit of everything for the Associated Press. Has been for a long time. Part of our little golf outing here today at the golf club at Southampton. We might have to have Coos on to explain himself in just a minute or two.
Oh, yes. Pile on excuses. Let's do it. Can't wait.
We'll definitely do it. But I want to stay on what we were talking about with Mark Long. He said Chris Conley. And
That's my guy as well.
that's interesting. I'm going to disagree with you guys on that front. I mean, from a go-to emerging player, so you basically think that Chris Conley will lead this team with receptions, and I'm not going to hang up too much on that. You know,
No, yeah.
if it's 52 catches to 50 catches, that's not what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the guy that might catch 75, and the other guys might only have 55. The guy that's being targeted 10 times a game might catch 7 balls or 8 passes. Who is that guy? And you guys lean Chris Conley. That would be a great surprise. By the way, the value on that, if it is Chris Conley, would be spectacular.
But
Nick Foles and the Jaguars.
Would it really be a surprise, though? Because you have Chris Conley, a guy who's been consistent his entire career, who had an injury right before he was having the best best season of his life. He comes back, and all of a sudden you got Tyreek Hill, you got Travis Kelce, you got Sammy Watkins, and they bring on Kelvin Benjamin. I mean, I think it was just a guy that got lost in the fold. Now, when there were injuries, when Sammy Watkins was hurt, and Conley was, kind of thrown in that position, Conley shined, and it could be a testament to having the best quarterback in the league last year. But I think it's also a testament just to what kind of player he really is. And I think he's really consistent. I think he's got the most credentials on anybody in that Jacksonville Jaguar wide receiver room right now. And I think him and Foles have built a little rapport as well. So, yeah, I'll be taking Chris Conley all day.
That's again, I'm going to disagree. I wouldn't mind seeing that happen. I think he's a 2.5 to 3 receiver in the NFL. Now, on this roster, you can be a 3 receiver that's really like a 2 receiver on this, or a 1B even, because we are unsure who the number 1 wide receiver on this team is. That's why we're talking about it a little bit. That's why the topic exists, and it kind of got us on this topic because of the interest the Jags have in Terrell Pryor. And if they were to work him out according to Dean Rappaport, if they work him out, even if they sign him, I don't know what the heck the expectations will be for Terrell Pryor. So I'm not going to say silly on that. But I do think they have people with potential in that room. I do think that's why they didn't go crazy and go grab someone in free agency. I was on the Antonio Brown thing for a long time. Go find a guy that you can go to. They don't necessarily have that, but I do think last year was an indicator that they started to go to D.D. Westbrook. We had an interview with D.D. Westbrook last week. You could sense and hear his maturity 3 years into the NFL. He's put on about 10 pounds of muscle, beefed up a little bit, even though he is kind of slighter of frame. He can play a physical brand of football. He's not afraid of that in the NFL. So I really liked what I saw from D.D. last year, especially in the second half, when he was really the only guy they could go to. And so I still lean on D.D. Westbrook. I think D.D. Westbrook is the guy they need to target early in the year. I think he is the guy that you look up at the end of the season, and he had 6 catches in week 1, 8 catches in week 2. Might have dropped down to 5 catches in week 3, but he was back up to 8 catches in week 4. And you start going through that now and going through the part of the season, I think the numbers just added up to like 27 catches or whatever that I threw out there. And now you're talking a guy that even if he doesn't do that week in, week out, but he does that 3/4 of the season, well, now he's up around 80 catches. I think that's possible for D.D. Westbrook. I find it hard to see anybody else on this roster that I would say has a 75 to 85 catch potential.
We have to remember the John DeFilippo offense, I think, like what they ran in Philly. I mean, yes, Alshon Jeffrey was the 1 receiver, but Nelson Aguilar really cemented himself as a good bona fide 2 receiver and helped get them to the playoffs and eventually to the Super Bowl. So we have to remember, we have to look at who the 2 receivers are going to be, whether it's Marquise Lee, whether it's Chris Conley. Those guys can be set up for big numbers as well, because if it's anything like the Philadelphia Eagles offense from the Super Bowl year, they're going to use that 2 a lot.
Well, and then there's 3 giant X factors for the Jaguars. There's DJ Chark. Where does he go from here? Is DJ Chark really a 2nd round value? By the way, when the Jaguars drafted DJ Chark in the 2nd round, they thought he was a 1st round value. Now, I'm convinced all GMs say that. They got him in the 2nd, even though he's a 1st round value. But I do think they like his potential, and obviously to get downfield, and he made a couple of nice catches, but he has to show off his hands a little bit more. He was fantastic on special teams. He was tremendous on special teams. He was fun to watch on special teams. Who's fun to watch on special teams? Like, your eye doesn't usually go that. My eye went to DJ Chark every time they punted the football. Like, I thought it was fun to watch him get down the field and be the first guy down there. So, can he emerge at all and help you out? Can he be a 40 to 50 catch guy? Can he be a big play guy at times? I don't think he's your 7 to 8 catch a game player, but I think he has big play capability. And then you talk about X factors. Where is Keelan Cole? Is he 2017 receiver? Is he 2018 receiver? Is he the guy that goes away for the rest of the year last year, or is he the guy that makes the big catch against the New England Patriots, the big catch against the Seattle Seahawks the year prior? I really don't know. I don't know which one. It scares me that he was an undrafted free agent. It's not like he was looked at as this ultra-talented guy coming out. So, and now he was coming out of a small school, so that didn't help him from catching everybody's eye. But I wonder what Keelan Cole is, if I'm being honest. I just still don't know, and I think we're about to find out probably in the first half of this year. And then speaking of the first half of this year, I still think you're not going to get a lot out of Marquise Lee. That was a devastating knee injury in the preseason last year. He probably won't even be back to full go toward the end of August, leading into the season. And I'm telling you folks, I think it's proven. I think if you go back and watch it, I think 9 out of 10 times, guys that come off these kind of injuries take the first half of the year to find themselves. They are not robots and machines. You are not comfortable with the knee. You're not comfortable being out there. You have to test it. You have to convince yourself, I think, that you're fine and you're 100% and everything's back to normal. So I think it will take the first half of this schedule for Marquise Lee to be the Marquise Lee he thinks he can be. And I'm not really sure what the fan base and everybody else kind of thinks Marquise Lee can be. I mean, if Marquise Lee is the guy that signed a 4-year, $42 million deal, if he's the guy that you've seen the first 4 years of his career when healthy, what do you expect from Marquise?
It's a good point, and we have to remember, I mean, coming off the knee injury at the wide receiver position, it's one thing to play offensive line, it's another thing to be a defensive lineman, but when you're talking about a wide receiver coming off a severe knee injury like that, I mean, your game is all dependent on how fast you can cut, how fast your footwork is, and if any little thing, any little minuscule thing feels off, that's going to mess up all your route running. So I think it is important for Marquise Lee to take his time, and I think the Jaguars training staff, is preaching that as well. I mean, we heard Doug Marone say he's probably going to be ready sometime during preseason. We'll see. I mean, they're not going to rush him back. The expectations of Marquise Lee, like we've seen the flashes and we've seen the glimpses, but we have to remember this is a serious injury, and right now in terms of depth, I mean, the Jaguars, they don't have the elite depth, I think, but they do have the depth where there will be competition for sure.
Matthew says Conley, in terms of being the best one,
My man!
on the albino tiger once he's up to speed. Sean says Terrell Pryor, you're kidding, Sean. I know. Terrell Pryor maybe ends up in Jacksonville. He's going to work out with the team according to Ian Rappaport. I will say this about Marquise Lee, and I think this goes for D.D. Westbrook too. Those two guys allowed the Jaguars to get creative on offense. Put the guy in motion, put him behind the running back. Those kind of gadget plays, it allows you at least to be creative. There wasn't enough of that last year either. And I'm interested to see if John DeFilippo uses those skill sets when Marquise Lee's out there. And I think D.D. Westbrook fits in that role too, where you can try some different things to at least confuse, deceive the defense a little bit. And when we come back here from Southampton, as we wrapped up 18 holes of golf, a little duel between Coos and Austin Lane here on a Wednesday, we'll get to balling and falling, and it's got nothing to do with these guys' golf games. That's next on Action Sports Jackson, ESPN 690. How's it coming through?
Seems fine.
Okay. I get it. It feels like a little static sometimes in my ears. I don't know. I might see that.
Yeah.
It's quiet in the afternoon, huh?
Really pretty hot. Well, it's really not bad as this.
Were you guys super hot?
I feel like I got cooked. I feel like I got cooked.
Here's the thing, Brent. You play golf 3 days a week. You make it a little more seasoned when it comes to the heat.
I am hard to hate because I seriously don't mind these shots.
Yeah, I built as a big woman to like air conditioning.
I might have. The weekends are on the colder areas. So I come back and it's like you were seeing me towards the heat.
I know Sean and they're darn Sean. Pick up the energy a little bit.
Sorry, man. Know what you got to.
I don't knock your out. Next hour.
Run some laps.
Just something like that. That's what it's all fired up.
That's right, not really.
You're not like that. You're recent tired. You're not there. It's weird. When we were like number 14 or 15. Yeah, he went to wrestle one night. I was like, really? He's not wore out? You're a little more wore out than you think. He's like, dude, dying.
How did you guys do? How did you enjoy it out there?
It was great, yeah.
Excellent.
Got a tough course, being 124.
Yeah. There's some bunkers out there. They did some good shots.
I call it the owl bunker. 11. We're to the left.
Yeah. Yeah,
I've seen clubs go farther than golf. Not on the arrow.
No, we're on break early. Stop. All right, well, I think I'm going to split.
Yeah, get out of here.
I
Yeah, I'm about to take off in a little bit too.
got burgers, so we're good on that. It's gonna be expensive.
Yeah, I'm gonna get these vlogs.
What are you shooting at?
101.
Is that about right?
I was just hoping to shoot the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, at my best, I was a bogey golfer, so I'm not far off with that
Yeah.
today. Nick was crushing the ball at the time.
Yeah, we saw some. You got get some good hits.
I hit some decent ones. I just, my putting was terrible. Putting was just the worst. I couldn't do anything. But overall, not too displeased with it. I would have liked to shoot like a 94 or something, but All right. See you guys. See you, Austin.
Pretty much actually, I'll
Sleep well. Yeah, I will. My house is closer.
Maybe Boston on the show.
Alright, I'm probably gonna head out back to the office.
We'll get ready to get on the radio show. On the show, I think.
Right now?
Pretty soon. All right. See you guys.
Austin, can we double or nothing, right?
Yeah.
That was nothing.
Until next time.
If you want to,
See you, man.
Jeff, let's go on Twitter too, rather than try the same thing.
I was gonna bring her. I'm embedding them all into one, so it'll be like Tony Khan will be the main one, and then they'll all be in there. We can always share that link with separate kind of like teasers if you want. Does that make sense? Oh.
Hey, welcome back to Action Sports Chats on ESPN 690. Game 2 NHL Stanley Cup Finals tonight. You in? You locked in?
I'm locked in. Yeah, I'm all in. I called the Blues in 6, and I'm sticking by that. I think if I do lose, I'm going to have to watch CM Punk's movie, which it looks like a great movie, but I don't know if you're aware of this, but I don't really do a lot of suspenseful thriller / scary
No, you
movies.
said that you were scared about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not scared about it.
You told CM Punk you were scared to watch.
First of all, I didn't say I was scared. I said I get stressed out. There's a difference. I just don't like my heart rate going up to a certain level. And when I watch horror movies like that, that's what it does.
This golf wore you out a little bit today. I sense it.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Like literally, because we're on hole number 12, and then we were like, you know what would have been awesome? 9 holes of this. Would have been a fantastic time, but by like
Coach, come on
12,
over here.
13,
Let's go. Let's get to
It
the,
was,
the bottom of this.
well, let's get to the bottom of it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's time to
Yeah.
bring Coos into the program.
And go ahead
Because he wants to go home because he's tired.
Go ahead and get
Well,
your water
I gotta
while
get back
too.
to this. I gotta get back
You got a
to
show to do. Number one show. Let me show you how to use
Oh
this.
yeah.
Number one show.
Must have been doing a lot of
in
talking on the
Jacksonville
number
at
one
night.
show.
WAB 95.1. You know him as Justin Kuzart. Do you go by Justin Kuzart on WAB?
Just Justin.
Can you hold that mic closer? Do I have to
Justin.
teach you how to do this?
Well, I don't know.
Don't you do this?
I don't know. What I have like up here. You just
Isn't it his job to know what to do?
Listen, do a lot of people's jobs.
Yeah, you are, man.
So they don't. Listen, hey,
Scott. This means nothing to us, all right? This is just 5 seconds of Coos talk about the day. You're still the number 1 pick. Oh no, Scott.
We need you. We almost didn't get on today, so we need you. So you go by Justin.
Yeah, just go by Justin. It's weird to say your last name, like while you're on air.
Yeah.
You have to introduce yourself every time you go on. So it's like
That's cool. First name basis.
yeah, we're buddies on that show.
Yeah. So what's the hot song right now?
Old Town Road.
Is it still?
Oh,
it's
that's
so
been number 1 for like forever now. It feels like.
He just performed this song for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final too, by the way.
See, Tom Brady asked him to, I think, play during one of their games or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not the biggest fan of the song.
I don't mind the song. I mean, I like it because it's catchy, it's cool. I don't mind. I was just surprised it had the staying power. I thought it would go to like a peak, and then it would slide back down 2 weeks later, and it's still there.
It's here to stay, and he also got a Wranglers endorsement on it.
I saw that.
So, for sure.
There's some
Really making a lot of people mad. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
really pissing a lot of people off.
Him or
I like
us?
that.
Yeah.
All right, so that will give me another song. Give me like a top 3 right now. So
Old Town Road, one of the Jonas Brothers, either one, cool.
They're back or they never went away.
They're back. They're back.
Okay.
And then probably pick any Ariana Grande song that she's ever come out with.
Right.
And she just canceled their shows, right?
Yeah, she was sick. She had to cancel, I think, the 29th. Is today the 29th?
So today's the 29th.
Okay, the concert tonight in Orlando got canceled, rescheduled for November.
All right.
So,
I was thinking about you though. So you have to pay attention to like the entertainment world. So the entertainment world is like TMZ.
TMZ, like BuzzFeed, stuff
Yeah.
like that too. Yeah.
So you have to split your time between ESPN for our show during the afternoon.
I'm always convinced he can see. Sometimes, like while we're there, like I'll get a notification something huge happened on the pop side thing. So I'll click on it to see, and I'm always convinced I was just gonna look up and be like, dude, what?
I'm not going to snitch at the things I see you look at when you're at work, Coos. That's not my job, man. I'm trying to get you fired. Well, I kind of because Scott can take your spot. But yeah, I'm not going to say anything
I
about
don't know.
it. This concerns all of us.
There's nobody back at the station today, so Scott's looking at whatever the heck he wants. Hey, is there some jealousy in our building that you have the number one show at night?
I haven't felt it, but I also don't talk to anybody in the building.
Yep.
I talk
He's
to
on a
you.
pedestal. He's on a pedestal, man.
I go from my office to ESPN to APE. I don't go anywhere in between. All
He
of
was
those.
only talking to the top talent, man. You got to respect it.
Where was WAP before you started doing it?
I actually
Like what number?
did. I don't know that off the top of my head, but somebody did tell me the other day that this is the highest APE's been since like 2016 or something. So
Sweet.
it's been a few years, and I only took over a year ago, so I'll take that as a win.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to double check you didn't make like one of the tattoo kind of bets that I made.
No, I mean,
Doesn't have
no.
number one.
But I'm like willing to get a tattoo for like most reasons. Give me a reason and I'll probably do it.
Because it's Friday, yeah.
All right, before you get out of here, how intense was the golf today between you and?
To be honest, Coos, don't lie.
Well, you know,
scared?
I wasn't scared. I had to play aggressive, which kind of got me behind the ball from the beginning because I was down 2 before we even started.
Yeah.
So I would attribute that to my aggressive play in the beginning, which may have put me even further back than I intended.
And you played golf once this year?
Yeah, once.
One other time?
One other time in a tournament. So.
Okay. But you're not really an avid golfer.
Oh, come on.
No.
Coos, I
So-
think you golf every once in a while.
Nicole would.
She
Take it to
she
young
told me
golfers.
she told me I had to win today because I'm dating her and she's
Well,
She has a reputation.
She has a
Well,
reputation.
Nicole,
her name's
your
on the
guy's coming home a loser, so hope you're excited about that.
her name's on the golf bag. I was like, you may want to make sure that comes off because
Yeah.
you don't want that.
Hey, well, Scott, did he win today? Scott? Okay, so if he didn't win, what would you call him?
I would like to point out
Go ahead.
I technically only lost by 1 because I lost by 3. I started down 2, so I made up a lot of ground. I was down 5 at one point.
So do you think on the PGA Tour, if you mess up the first hole, they're like, oh, it's all
No,
good,
but
Tiger.
in the PGA
What, you
Tour-
shot no bogey? Yeah, I want to scratch that off a little
But in
bit. You're all
Take your
good.
best and worst score.
Yeah,
and get rid
just
of
get
it.
rid of
But
it.
in the PGA Tour, I would have still gotten probably top 10 and made some money.
Well, let's be
You did
honest.
get top 10.
But here's the thing, Coos.
If you got top 10, there were 10 of us.
Okay, then I was 9.
But Coos, don't lie though. No, you're actually last place. But don't lie about it though. Where if you actually were calling all the shots, it would have been a lot worse for you.
There were 2 holes. The very first hole,
That would
that
have
would have
been like a 12.
I got
the
bailed
next
out
hole
big,
was
like-
probably an 11.
But after that, you guys were pretty.
we hit it good. And even I think you noticed, you're like, oh, you guys are starting to play a little better. It's like, yeah, I'm not chunking every shot.
Yeah. I did have to get the old Marshall in me because we had some guys kind of right behind us. So I was like, hey, you guys going to move along? We have a 3 o'clock radio show. So I had to get after you. I will say one golf story from my round, which, by the way, I played pretty well. I'm not going to lie to you.
Flex of the day, Brett Martin.
Flex of the day. So, but on the 17th hole, I whiffed. There was in the trees, and so I tried to hit it right-handed, and I whiffed on my second shot, hit it out of my third shot, and then hit it up and made par. So I made par on 17. That's the most impressive thing I did today. I made par on 17, which is a par 5,
Yeah.
with a whiff. I've never done that before.
Did you have any birdies today, Brett?
I had 2.
Okay.
Birds today.
2 birds.
We almost killed a couple
Killed a
birds.
couple
Those geese.
Yeah.
Yeah, we almost hit
Austin's
one.
phone is a
Don't do
casualty.
that.
Yeah, but my
Because
phone
somebody come
broke.
after us for talking horse racing.
Yeah, my phone broke today, so
phone broke today?
yeah, I
Really?
smashed it.
Why? You got mad?
No. No, I ended up stopping on the car by accident.
I feel like there's a story here.
No, there's not a story. Actually, I was just driving the car.
Although we
for a
were
while.
talking about getting angles for shots for social media,
Yeah.
and he was, I suggested putting the phone right in front of him so he'd drive right over it.
Yeah.
But I was worried that maybe he hits the phone and then his whole phone explodes.
All right. Coos, go to that number 1 show. for tonight. Good luck.
Yeah.
And we'll see you back.
Can you guys promote us on your show? Because we talk about your show, like the Abe
You
show
call
every
in.
single.
Call in
No.
and jump in on the
No,
topic.
that's
last
work
night's
for me
topic.
though, dude.
What was last night's topic?
Best burger in town. Where's the
What,
best burger?
what was it?
A lot of
Oh.
people. There were a lot of people. People said Post. People said M Shack. There was a bunch. There was one I hadn't heard in Riverside that I actually do want to go check out now. So
That's a good question. Best burger in
What
town.
do you think, Brent?
I mean, the burger here was pretty awesome.
The burger here was good.
Burger was good. I'm such a bad critic because I love anything most of the time. I'll tell you, what night I go with you guys, I went with Devin, one of our sales guys, Jumpin' Jack's House of Food. That's a great burger.
Never heard of it.
Great burger.
Okay.
It's 2 locations now. It's a great burger.
Thanks for the invite.
And actually, like down the road here, Taps has a very good burger.
Taps. I've been to Taps not to eat. I was drinking, but it was good.
But
Sounds
you know
good.
what Taps does, because we're not too far from Taps, down on 210, and it's not often you can go and order a burger to go, and you get home and it's still good.
True. Yeah, because it gets soggy and everything.
It is there.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's pretty good.
Okay.
And I already told you my favorite fast food burger. Checkers.
You did say Checkers.
Yeah.
Brent, have you had Culver's yet?
Yeah, Culver's is good.
Culver's good, okay.
Culver's a little, believe it or not, I feel like
It's greasy.
a little, like,
Oh,
greasy.
it's greasy.
Greasy
Oh, no.
Checkers.
No, it's not greasy. It's greasy, man. I mean, they call them butter burgers for a reason.
Yeah,
They deep fry them in butter.
All right, get the heck out of here, Coos.
All right, yeah.
Culver's is coming all around here soon enough.
Okay.
They might have one.
Shout out to Wisconsin, by the way. That's where they started.
That's where it started, too. It's coming to Florida. It's all over, like South Florida.
Okay.
And I think coming up to Orlando, it'll be in Jacksonville soon enough, I would imagine, down the road. All right, man. Thanks for coming out and playing some golf.
Sorry you lost today.
Sorry. Apparently, I'm getting roasted for
Sorry.
having my glove on while putting, but
You are getting some,
You look like a serial killer with a black glove on, by
Well,
the way.
I
Be a
wore
normal
that
person
because
wear a
I
white-
was about to commit crime and beat you in this. So
That's not what happened, is
you
it?
guys
though?
both got criticized on social media for your golf etiquette. One was the glove and putting with it on.
Mine was
and
walking
you
across
were
somebody's
walking in the line.
Like it even mattered on these greens today. You know how dry they were? Like
I
it
would say
didn't matter.
it flew. Putting was a problem for everyone.
Yeah. Don't worry about it, people.
Well, you had Vans on.
That's correct.
It doesn't matter then.
Okay, so why does everybody get like
Because
these?
it's if you have golf spikes on. But
So
the
I can't
etiquette
walk
is-
in-
The etiquette is you don't walk in someone's line.
So like where the ball could go, I can't walk in front of that?
There was a little bit of a
If it's your opponent, it's someone else on the green, you should walk in
there's
front
a
of.
little bit of a debate too because I hit his golf
Yeah,
ball in
so-
a putt. So he should get 2 strokes. But really, I should have won by one.
No, so get this. All right.
You get 2 strokes.
Why do I get 2
So sorry that should happen, Brett. And this is
No, I didn't hit his ball. I putted mine into his ball.
So
His
Coos
ball
had about
was in the way.
an 8-foot putt. He shanked it big time, and it went over the hole and hit my
Shake
ball.
a putt.
Okay, well he shanked it big time. It went over the hole and hit my ball. Where I feel like if he should have said, "Can you please mark your ball?" It's not my job to mark the ball, right? It's his job to tell me that.
I'm gonna have to double check on this, but I
Do
actually
you golf
believe
though or not? Because sometimes.
well, I just want to make sure. I think my interpretation is it's your job to mark the ball.
But he didn't ask me to do it. Why did I mark?
Well, that's where things get a little crazy.
Right, especially when
I
it's
gotta
past the
check
hole.
my rules official.
Hey, stat boy.
Stat boy.
I gotta get
You're
back
so
to
knowledgeable.
I gotta get back to my laptop.
Coos has to get back to his laptop.
You just been hammering Stat Boy lately. All right, get the heck out of here.
right.
We'll see you back in the studio tomorrow. Thank gosh you didn't get hurt today. We didn't do falling and falling, so let's do it when we come back. Let's take a break, Scott. If you're still there, if you went home, sorry. Hopefully, there's a button that automatically pushes and goes to break with a little good music, so Austin can dance on the bumper side of things.
Yeah, let's get it.
We got to pick Austin up a little bit. I tell you all the time, people. Austin looks tough, but he's soft. And golf wore him out today.
Who is this? Peter Gabriel Sledgehammer? I like this song.
Should go to. Are you wrestling tonight?
Yeah.
We'll be back on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Yeah, I'm resting.
I thought you were taking the day off. I thought you said it's your off day.
In the morning. At night,
So you just, that's the day you don't do 2?
I don't do 2 days, yeah. Well, usually I just do yoga in the morning, but that's not much.
I will say that the first few holes took me a second from the gym.
Yeah.
I did all quad and hamstring,
Hammies.
so like those first few swings, I was like, oh man. And then that par 3 in the sand really messed up my back.
Nick says that he did not include those 2 strokes in the score. He lost by 3 and adding 2
So
mixed
why?
up.
I told him to put those 3 in.
Sorry, Coos.
Why does Don Vogel keep calling me?
Your form looks better on ice skates. All right, Gene. Thanks, man. Keep popping your collar, too.
Burnett?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Hey, what's up, man? I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of the radio show. How you doing?
So Austin, I got the basic Tony Khan video in there now.
Yep.
I'm going to, so I can get
Oh,
the
okay.
traffic to get back.
I didn't even know about it.
Yep.
And then once I get up there, I'll embed the rest of your videos
Oh,
in from your Twitter, and then the rest. I don't think Nick ever sent me the other ones.
Well, I don't have all of mine. I just I forwarded the head of the Hangman page on Brent.
Okay, that's. I don't think I have that one.
So hit Brent up.
Okay.
I'll text it for that, and then I can put that in this one too.
When I get done with
I may share your number. Can I give you your number? Is that okay?
I'll get the
All right, I'll do it.
because I had the
Thanks, Don. Appreciate it.
Not too.
Bye-bye.
Oh, you were the, okay, I got
Yeah, I
a
was gonna
notification about that login, so,
So,
I knew it was you or something.
what I'll do is I'll tease like 2 minutes of the Tony Khan video and be like, all right, talk to Tony Khan, and then go hear the rest. Check out the ESPN 6-9.
Okay, so I'll hit you with this. Like, I got both done and published right now. So we got the Tony Khan and we got like the pictures and recap kind of our golf day.
We'll say how much should we get for the ML block or not?
Yeah, I can
Just
ask
so you know how
Aaron.
it's doing.
I can
Okay,
ask
fine.
Aaron.
Eventually, you don't have to.
We'll have to like next week or something. We'll have to see what we do
Okay.
and where we go.
All right.
I'll use SEO too. Is there a specific like all wrestling thing?
Did you put the Japanese restaurant there too already or not?
No.
Okay.
You want me to bet her in now?
Yeah, go ahead and bet her now because people were asking for the whole interview. So I'll retweet it and be like, hey, you can check it out on ESPN.
Wait, there was a whole video to it, or was it just
Oh no, I mean I'm sorry.
just the Twitter one, right?
No, there's a whole video of
I
it.
don't think I had that one either. See if you
Do
can
you,
send.
are you like in what part are you in? Like, are you in the Google Drive? Like when I send to Brent?
I don't think I'm seeing that, no.
Okay.
But I can give you my email now if you can send it or share it.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, Justin and Kuzar. There you go. That's it. And then, yeah, just send me the ones you want me to put in. And if there's like a specific headline or something you want me to like get in there, just let me know. That way I can get it.
And you can be watching Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 and all the video platforms. We appreciate those of you that do on Facebook, ESPN 690, on Twitch, ESPN 690 Jacks, on YouTube, our Action Sports Jacks channel, and also on the Twitter at Brent AS Jacks. Be able to find our video feed. And if you're watching on the video, well, we got done playing a little golf earlier today, so we are hanging out at the golf club at Southampton here in St. Augustine off 210. Our good buddies Derek DiStefano and Willie and Jim Houston helping us put together a little outing for some of the folks in the media and some others. So we had some good time golfing, and it was a lot of fun. And if you're checking out on the video feed, it's not quiet out there right now. We can jump out and play more, fellas, if you want.
I'm all set, man. Kuz gonna play some more?
Sure.
Okay, Kuz is in. You guys can go have fun.
Go race around there. I know it. Hey, we're back, Scott. Sorry, did we lose you for a second? All right, good. I guess we lost you. All of us. I heard all this music. I was like, "Whoa, what's going on?" I thought that was. I thought Austin requested some music from you, Scott, there for a second. But
Peter Gabriel, Sledgehammer, yeah. No, I mean, honestly, I thought Scott was playing the music for like you guys to have a showdown on the golf course, another 18 holes.
yeah, we were just
Bring it
saying,
back.
That we'd like to go play a little.
You
bit.
would,
It's
not
pretty
me.
quiet.
No, I'm all set.
If I asked Ty if he wanted, he's already played 27 holes today. If I asked him, you want to go skate around and play another 9 or 18, he'd be like, let's do it.
Well,
Not
you
sure
guys
Mom
are,
would like that.
you guys
but,
are nuts.
But we might want to do it.
I'm all set for the
All right,
next 2
hey,
years.
let's get into some balling and falling.
Sure.
How about it? What you got?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I would have had time to
to figure out some stuff today,
Listen,
but it's okay,
here's the
man.
deal. You have to. This is part of the job here. You got to learn how to
Golfing.
walk on the golf course.
Golfing is okay.
You were too focused today.
Whoa, it was a big match for me.
So I will begin.
I'm set.
I'll give you a second.
Hey, I'm ready. Ballin. Yoel Romero gets $27.45 million for suing Gold Star Performance Products after he failed a USADA test to take him out of a UFC event. That's some big-time buku bucks there, Ben, if you will. Props to him, because you got to think, I mean, in that fight where he failed the drug test and he was out, I mean, he probably only would have made maybe $1 million at the very most, so good for him for getting $27.45 million.
How about that?
Yoel Romero, and he's also like in his 40s too, so he's kind of on the back nine of his career, if you will.
Yeah, so that's a great get.
Yes, sir.
And payday.
And by the way, I mean, if you saw the guy, you'd think, yeah, steroids make sense. But no, because he's this big Cuban guy. So I mean, I don't know if it's just good genetics, if it's hard work, but the dude's got like neck muscles up to his ears, so he's a specimen to say the least. But props to him. Congratulations on getting paid.
My balling is going to be the Minnesota Twins.
Okay.
They are 20 games above 500.
Yeah.
They have a 10-game lead over the Cleveland Indians.
It's
Remember
almost
that
like
guy?
it's almost like somebody was calling that the whole time.
Remember that guy that made that stupid bet?
Yeah, everybody was chastising him about.
Yeah, remember that?
I remember hearing something about it.
I mean, we're only at the end. We're only at the end of May, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But my man Rocco Baldelli, and the reason I love Rocco Baldelli so much, if you don't know the backstory, my second job was in Providence, back home.
Okay.
I worked at CBS and Fox affiliate, and probably the first big story I ever covered in this business. I don't know if I covered a big story in Louisiana, but about a month or so into my time in Rhode Island working in TV, Rocco Baldelli was the 4th overall pick in the Major League Baseball draft. 4th overall pick for a guy from Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And so
There's only like 10 people there, so that's crazy.
Great family.
Yeah.
Good guy. And
Sweet name, by the way.
It's a great name. He,
Yeah.
he could have gone on, I think he played like Olympic volleyball. Great volleyball player.
Okay.
So super athlete.
Yeah.
But he had his career cut short. I mean, he was compared to Joe DiMaggio. And I mean, that he was a 5-tool outfielder.
Sure.
And he had this fatigue disease that cut his career short, mostly with the Tampa Bay Rays, even though he had a nice season or two, I think, before that. And now he's the manager, first-time manager of the Minnesota Twins. He's brought the analytics into play. So if you're not a fan of analytics, Minnesota is proving you wrong because they are hitting home runs left and right in that new stadium, newer stadium. And they've got a 10-game lead against the Cleveland Indians. So my balling goes to my man Rocco Baldelli and the Minnesota
Fantastic.
Twins. Don't get to falling just yet.
Okay.
I've got a phone call we got to get to first.
Okay, is this for the
Scott,
Fallen
if
segment?
you can put my man Jimbo Cavanaugh on the phone. He's our golf rules official.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So, hey Jimbo, how you doing, man?
What up, dude? Are you serious?
And it's right out here. Hey, Jimbo, I'm not sure if you know, but we're at Southampton today. We had a little golf event. Sorry we didn't invite you, but Jimbo lives right about the 13th hole.
So there's an Austin Lane?
He lives on Austin Lane.
Jimbo, hey, all right, man, here's what I need you to do. I'm going to slip you a 20. You steal the street sign, okay, and give it to me one day. I was saying how I'm going to slip you a $20 bill, and I'm going to need you to steal the street sign, hypothetically. Can you steal the street sign from me? Is he calling the cops?
Hey, Scott, I'm not hearing Jimbo too well. Is he cutting in and out?
No.
Yeah, he's kind of. See if we get a better connection with Jimbo. We'll get him back. In the meantime, we'll do Fallen real quick.
Forget Fallen. Can we go find where that street sign is so I can
I'll
steal
take you
it?
there after the show. If you
All
want.
right.
At least a picture.
I have wrestling. I'd rather just steal it. Fallen. Sorry, I just closed out of my cell phone.
I'll help you out.
No, I got it right here, man. All right, so listen, Rob Pelinka has been in the news a lot.
Yes.
Not for good reasons, and he's not doing himself any favors here. He shared a story that was bragging about how Kobe Bryant approached his craft. One of the things that Kobe Bryant did was that he met with Heath Ledger after Kobe Bryant saw the Batman movie, and Kobe Bryant was so inspired about how Heath Ledger found himself in that role where Kobe Bryant had dinner with Heath Ledger, basically wanted to kind of get his opinion on how do you prepare for a role, how do you get so lost in it, how do you get better at your craft. Well, the problem was that the Batman movie came out 6 months later after Heath Ledger died. So Heath Ledger wasn't even alive for when the movie premiered, which makes Rob Pelinka's story BS. So why Rob Pelinka would tell that story about Kobe Bryant is just kind of weird, but in a situation where the Lakers aren't in a good light right now, he's not helping.
That Lakers thing is a mess.
Dude, who wants to go play? Honestly, if you're Anthony Davis,
is that the worst decision LeBron's ever made? Speaking of the decision, this one should be called the bad decision.
no, for sure.
What a
I mean,
terrible
and
decision.
on the outside looking in, I can see like you want to go to LA because it's it's for the movies.
You know how I feel about
yeah,
it.
I know how you
That's
feel
the
about
stupidest
it.
reason ever.
But then also you had at the time you had Magic Johnson kind of running the show, and Magic Johnson I think is a player that LeBron kind of looked up to.
Absolutely.
So I can see those things. But now, man, if I'm Anthony Davis, if I'm Kyrie, if I'm anybody, I'm not going there.
There's
no way.
It's a you-know-what show.
Exactly.
And it's crazy. It's crazy how some of these great organizations get this bad.
Yeah.
I mean, the Knicks, the Lakers.
Well, and let's be
Another
honest here,
sports.
Brent. Like, if this is like the Pelicans, if this is, if some small market like the Wizards, we're not talking about it.
Absolutely.
Nobody cares. But this is the Lakers, man. This is a storied franchise.
Yeah.
They should be embarrassed.
I agree with you. And it's kind of the day in the life of the next NBA team.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what the NBA Finals brings us to. We're talking more about the Lakers than we are talking about Game 1 of the Finals.
Yeah.
I feel like the last few weeks. Quickly, my fall, and I think it's the second time I've had this on my show, on the show, and that is the Red Sox. Red Sox had a terrible loss yesterday, and I just wanted to do the fall-in for Minnesota and the fall-in for the Red Sox just to punch home my chances in this bet that I have. And if you're not familiar with the bet, the Red Sox, Yankees, Indians, or Astros can't go to the World Series. I've got the field.
Man.
$100 bet. So, and I'm already 1 for 1
Yeah.
this year in bets.
You are, man. You're 1 for 1. Bet on black.
In Vegas.
Yes, sir.
And I'm giving that $100 away next week for our 100th show. How about that?
I love
Donating it right to the cause.
I love it, man. Right to the show.
Who else would do that?
Nobody.
Nobody.
That's why we're the best.
That's
Trying to
why
be
we're
the best.
We're just at least telling you we are. Hey, when we come back, we'll get Jimbo back on the phone. I got to get an answer on this rules question in golf. Happy hour horn as well. The CBA and the NBA coming up on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 live from Southampton. All right, Scott, I don't know if that was Jimbo or us or what. I'm going to get into just a couple of tidbits on the CBA.
Yeah.
What's something I'd like to explore more as we go along, but need a little more research and homework on it.
Yep. Dude, I'll be honest, man. I can see having a couple beers with the boys golfing. It wouldn't be a bad day. I mean, it's so hot out here. It's so sun today.
Yeah,
But yeah, I can see it. I get it.
What I like too, it's either like I like going out this time of night.
Yeah.
Because as the sun's going down,
Yeah.
and usually it's quiet, so you don't
Good
run into
view.
anybody. It's the best time. But
Yeah.
the way we work,
Or
our
7
schedule,
o'clock in the morning.
or that's the other time I was going to say, or
Seven.
I'll sleep 3 hours and get up for a tee time.
7 o'clock is their first tee time.
Because then you're off. Because golf's meant to be played in like 3 hours,
Sure.
and you can fly around.
Our 7 o'clock group plays in 3 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah, 3 and a half.
Seven,
Anything
7,
under
9.
4, but really, if you get closer to 3.5, it's better.
I'm sorry about that hole at the windmill, Austin, that bothered you. The clown's nose, you did real well.
I appreciate it, man. And you know I hate clowns too, by the way. So. I know. I was trying to fight through that one. I appreciate it, though, dude.
Guy that I'm doing workout with says tomorrow's Hurricane Day. I'm like, what the heck does that mean?
Yeah.
Hey, Scott, do we have Jimbo or what? Okay. 121 strokes for Austin Lane. That was the deal today at the golf club at Southampton. Much anticipated 18-hole match with producer Justin Kuzart, Kuz as you know him, and Kuz with a 124.
Had to put him to bed, Brent. To be honest, were you surprised I shot that? Would you think higher or lower?
You know what's interesting? I think I've told you this. I did two. I have now witnessed. Now this one I wasn't front row seat.
Yeah, yeah. You were
But I've
front row.
witnessed Marcel Robinson at TPC Sawgrass played his first 18 holes ever.
Yep.
And so the over/under was, I think we created it at like 175.
Okay.
Now I'll have to ask Marcel what he shot, but I feel like it was around. I was thinking earlier it was 120s, but I really think he was in the 140s.
Mm-hmm.
And we did every shot. By the way, we ran into the caddy like a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
and he's still talking about that round. And by the way, the last time I was over there for the J Fund, and I tipped him double what I normally would tip.
Sure.
Just still paying for
This is
Marcel's
so
round.
bad. That's how you go in depth right there.
And then I also, years before that, Drew Copley used to work with us at Action Sports Shacks on CBS 47 and Fox 30. He had never really kept score, I think it was, for 18 holes. So he went to TPC, and we made a bet in the sports department that he couldn't break 150.
Oh, wow.
And he obliterated it. It was
Yeah.
like 127.
Wow.
I was impressed. I was
Yep.
really impressed with that. I was impressed with Marcel. Marcel hit some really good shots that day at TPC Sawgrass. So this is actually
Well-
like the third time in 3 or 4 years that I've seen a kind of, and you said you've played a couple of rounds.
As a kid, yeah.
So this was your first recorded score in a long, long time.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
121 is pretty good. So I'm
but
not
here's-
shocked that you shot it. I've seen you swing. It's
Here's
not bad.
well. Here's the thing, though. Here's where my game really fell off, and I'm not trying to make excuses here, but I kind of am. The putter that I had, so the same putter that Stewart, his putter was stolen. It wasn't the same putter, like it wasn't his putter, but it was the same brand. Do you remember what kind of putter Stewart had?
Scotty Cameron.
Scotty
And
Cameron,
you
yeah.
putted- so for this
So
round, you
I
putted
used
with a Scotty Cameron.
yeah, and I'm gonna be honest, like that putter, like I averaged like a 4 putt every single hole, Brent. It was bad. The putter threw me off because it was so heavy. Like I figured it'd be like a lot lighter to just kind of move the ball around. And when I was putting, man, it was like I was putting with a brick, so that's what threw me off. I mean, my putting was by far the worst thing of the day, hands down.
I'd say this. If you were putting with a Scotty Cameron putter,
Yeah.
you have zero excuses.
No, I have all the
Because that's
excuses.
like a $400 putt.
Okay, well, it's also 20 pounds, so congratulations, Scotty Cameron. Can you make like something that's like a 5 pound club?
6'6", 245. Sometimes ripped, sometimes not. Complaining about the weight of a putter.
Way too heavy. Way too heavy, Scotty. Step your game up a little bit next time.
Hey, we got
please.
some
Thank you.
NBA talk, some CBA talk, but happy hour horn in just a moment. But I think we have Jimbo Cavanaugh back. Let's see if the connection's better. This is really all that matters to me right now is getting this rules official update. And also, I know we lost you earlier. I know we lost you earlier, Jimbo, but really what Austin Lane was asking you is he wants you to steal your street sign.
Yes, please. For a $20 bill. Is that a deal? Okay, cool. Sounds good. I'll have the $20 over to you tonight then. Thank you, man.
I bet that. Go ahead. Oh, that's right. You're up there. How's it going up there? Awesome. Charleston's a good place. I haven't been, but I hear great things. So.
Ooh. Pretty cool.
Now you're talking. Jimbo, I haven't seen him. I usually play golf with Jimbo.
Okay.
But I haven't seen him recently because he had cataract surgery.
Oh, no. Okay.
Hopefully that went well.
That's all that matters.
Speaking of excuses, now you got plenty of them. Okay, here's the deal. Jimbo, Austin had a match with Kuz, our producer today. Austin wins Well, it was a stroke play.
It was stroke play.
So-
Very high stakes, by the way.
Yeah, so 121 to 124, Austin wins.
Obviously.
All right, but with the
No, well, I was playing for the lowest score, and I'm going to be honest, I had a Scotty Cameron putter that just was not agreeing with me today. Everything else was on point, dialed in, but that Scotty Cameron putter, way too heavy for me. Yeah, I mean, I think I averaged a 4-putt on every single hole, so, yep.
So here's the play in question, okay? Austin has his ball about 2 feet from the hole, and he doesn't mark it. Coos is on the other side of the hole, say 5-8 feet away. He putts it, it goes past the hole and hits Austin's ball.
On the other side of the hole.
On the other side of the hole. Is there a penalty? Yes.
That is correct. Right? Okay. Let's go. Let's go.
So Cruz gets the 2-stroke penalty. I thought it was the guy that didn't mark his ball.
Thank you. That's what I've been saying. I don't even go, but I knew that.
Yeah, I had it backwards.
Yeah, you did.
So Kuz should have asked Austin to mark his ball.
Well, and to be fair, I should have went first because I was the closer to the pin.
No, now you got it
But
backwards.
Kuz
You
didn't.
sounded smart a minute ago.
Kuz,
Okay,
what?
you go.
My ball was closer.
No, the guy that's farther away goes.
Oh, my bad. Okay, sorry about
So
that.
actually,
All right, so
listen,
we're
you were
back to
coming off
ground
as a
one.
champ a minute ago. Okay?
We're back to ground one, man. Ground zero, I mean.
Hey, the match.
Wow, this guy's really coming at me hard right now. You know what? Forget the $20. I'm just going to go to your house right now and steal that sign by myself. That's what I'm going to say, man. You better start using your GPS because there's not going to be a sign there to go off of anymore.
Hey, Jimbo. Jimbo, it's a match that got decided by 3 shots. It doesn't matter what the score was. I mean, it was a close match. So, yeah, that's good.
Nice.
That's Austin's loving that. That
I'm
you can
loving
say
it.
that. Good. See, Jimbo is a rules official.
Yeah.
Like he goes down for the training at Port St. Lucie.
Yep.
And like, what's your status now? Like, can you go? All right. Well, now, but you're volunteering up at the U.S. Women's Open. So enjoy Charleston. And what's that? That's the best part. Maybe you should take Austin's $20 for that street sign. All right. Hey, have fun. Thanks. All right, we'll see you on hole number 1 soon enough. Jimbo Cavanaugh checking in.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? We got a little late on it, but 5 o'clock hour here on a Wednesday. We're chilling out on the patio here at the golf club at Southampton. Oh, maybe in an hour or so, I might raise a glass, have a toast. I'm not wrestling tonight.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get over it.
So maybe you should wash this round down with a little Vita de Louis. It's happy hour horn time. Scott.
grab a drink, get a shot, tip your bartenders, and if you gotta go someplace, get some luggage, because we're all aboard the Long Mile Express. A-Train's at the wheel, baby. We're going all night long. Brent, take it away.
I almost didn't get through 18 holes. A locally owned tequila right here in Jacksonville, made in Tequila, Mexico, shipped directly to Jack's Beach. Make your own recipes with Vida de Luis Tequila, one of the smoothest tequilas you will ever taste. For locations, recipes, and merchandise, visit VitaDeLuis.com. In fact, I saw some Vida de Luis Tequila right in there in Southampton.
No,
at
man.
the bar.
Just temptation right now, peer pressure.
How about this from Cap?
Oh, I know. I was going to ask you this. Well, you know what? I was going to ask you it.
Don't be hating on Jimbo, Cap.
Well, I was going to say, I was going to ask you this question, but since he was being very mean to me, very, very mean to me, Jimbo, Bold City Cap asked Brent Martineau if all his good friends are over 70-plus years old.
Yes, they are. Hey, Cap, here's the deal. I'm trying to get in everybody's will.
Oh, man. Poor Brent.
Jimbo's the best, man. He's my golf guy.
He's all right. I wasn't really impressed with how much he was dogging me on the golf course.
Hey, he helped you with the Coos bet. That's all that counts.
I still won at the end of the day.
But you got an extra
Listen.
shot.
You know what? It wasn't worth it. I went home and Googled it myself later today. I had to have a 70-plus-year-old man call in and talk smack to me for the next 20 minutes. Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Jimbo. Pleasure to meet you, man.
You can't take it.
I can't? Dude, I don't golf. Like, cool. Make fun of me. I don't care.
Hey, NBA, early look at the NBA in 30 seconds because I'm not spending too much time on it. We can talk a little bit more tomorrow, 4-1.
Okay.
There's, I know you're mad at Toronto because the Bucks won.
Yeah.
You're rooting for Golden State.
I am rooting for Golden State.
Game 5, 6, or 7, this thing is over.
God, I hope 4 games, Brent. I hope 4 games. I hope they show
What's an
Drake.
option?
Well, I hope Drake's shown crying. Give me the Warriors in 6 games.
And that would be on the road, right? Because they go that 1-1-1.
No idea. I don't care. Just Warriors in 6. Yep, doesn't matter to me.
Boy, it's hard not to. It's hard to debate that.
Come on, Brent.
It's really hard to debate.
Good juju here. Good juju. Give us some Warriors.
Yeah.
Come on, Brent.
I kind of feel the Warriors too, but we'll talk a little bit more about it tomorrow. I want to talk a little bit about the CBA coming up next. How much of a problem is this going forward as players are now being told save some money for as long as a 1-year work stoppage? Talk CBA with Austin Lane and me from Southampton on ESPN 690 next.
Well, whenever Scott says clear, I keep thinking he's like a surgeon and he's like trying to revive somebody with the paddles.
Say that again?
When Scott says clear, I keep picturing him like being a surgeon, like trying to revive somebody with the paddles. Yep, nailed it. Don't you die on me, you bastard! Don't go towards the light.
I forget to tell you that though. He seriously lives on Austin Lane.
That's
you gotta
awesome.
get a shot of
Yeah.
that. That'd be funny.
I do, man.
Good, how are y'all?
Feeling the tats.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
See that, Brent? I got some devil horns today. How many devil horns have you got? 0. Yeah, right there, man. Rock on, baby.
You guys good, dude?
No, good. Thank you. Do you see was Pryor signed?
I didn't see it.
I finished second. 4 home runs. I wasn't going to beat. Myers had 9 home runs.
So did you guys play a game too? Softball game or just the derby? Just the derby.
Yeah, just the derby. They should do something like that, though. There should be more to it.
Was Ty pitching, dude?
Yeah. And I tried to get Kaylee. She didn't want to do it.
Oh.
I played well today.
Yeah, right. Someone's under arrest.
And thank you for listening. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. If you missed it a little earlier in the show, we are live at the golf club at Southampton. We had a little golf outing today with some of the ESPN 690 folks, some of the folks in the Jags media, some other media, and friends, and had a good time. 3 or 4 foursomes. Tried to throw it together on one of the off days for the Jaguars, and it seems like everybody had a good time. Some terrible golf played, some good golf played. And Austin Lane champion, even with a score of 121. That's really all that matters
Keep
today.
putting the number on there like it's your business there, Brent. Okay, just say that I won. I know. So I was gonna say this is more of the old school Peter Gabriel, not my favorite.
I'm more of a new school guy, but I appreciate it. Yeah, I know.
The other thing I wanted to pass along is 100th show on Monday. What was the over-under on you surviving this show?
Well, surviving or getting fired?
Well, that's about surviving. I mean,
Okay.
I still believe at some point in our, in this partnership of this show, you will probably get arrested.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
I'm going to get arrested eventually anyway.
Whether
right?
it's for stealing a street sign in
Yeah.
Austin Lane.
Yep.
Whether it's
That's worth it, though.
Driving a scooter in Atlanta down the wrong street.
Yeah, maybe.
Whether it's covering All Elite Wrestling in Vegas.
Well, we'll see what happens with this bachelor party this weekend. That's going to be the first.
Or the bachelor party, and
yeah,
I
the
almost
first test. I mean, there's only one cop there, so running from him is pretty easy. Have I done that before? If mom's listening, no, I have not. If mom is not listening, you bet I have.
Bring it back to the 40.
Bring it back to the 40, man. That's where we're going. You want to come, Brett?
I wanna go
Come
to
back
the
to
40.
Wisconsin, man. Let's
The
go.
40 sounds like a cool place.
I was gonna say we could hold it over to like Monday and do the show from there.
The
Wi-Fi might be hard
The
to come
40
by.
does sound like a great place, though.
Oh, it's a
And
fun
what
time.
Give me a little description of this.
Yeah, so it's a 40. So it's basically a couple acres of land that my friend Paul, who's getting married, it's his bachelor party, and it's some hunting land. But back there's a couple shacks that it's like a hunting shack basically. Well, we used to throw parties back there. Once again, if my mom's listening, we used to throw parties back there when I was 21 years old. If my mom's not listening, back when I was in high school, and we used to throw parties back there. We had a big event called Paul Palooza. And once again, Paul's the guy that's getting married.
Not Paul Pazalewski.
Yeah, so Paul Palooza, I mean, it would probably feature from because all the towns got a hold of it, right? So probably like 300 people would show up, man, and like cars would be like down the road, down the highway. We'd have to pick people up sometimes because there'd be so many cars there, and we'd have a little big shindig in the summer. So it was a good time. And is your other thing called? You know what Gus Macker is?
No, never.
So Gus Macker is a big 3-on-3 tournament in the Midwest. I know Michigan has them, Ohio has them. They're kind of dying out now, but basically it's a giant 3-on-3 basketball tournament, and it's call your own fouls. But with a long story short, though, we used to go to Paul Palooza on that Friday, and then Saturday we played in Gus Macker. So,
Very good. So that's a heck of a weekend.
it is a heck of a weekend. Yep.
That's happening Friday for you.
Yes, it
so
is.
you'll be off. Are you taking every Friday off from your run out? Or?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. You'll leave the family at home. I'm gonna take this Friday off, and then like in a couple weeks, then it's Paul's wedding, so I'm probably gonna have to leave that Friday as well. Sorry. Especially coming from the guy, because I'm not gonna. You can call me out if you want. I remember like a month ago, I said I'm not gonna take any time off. Like I got nothing to do, and now.
Yeah, ever since we said, hey, we're probably going to shut it down for a couple weeks in July, just not do the show.
Oh, it should have been June.
And ever since then, you're like, oh yeah, I'm taking that day and that day.
Yeah,
and that day too.
yeah.
That's fine. It's good. It's that time of
Appreciate
year
it, man.
too.
Thanks for being flexible.
Seriously.
We can do it. We will be live at World Golf Village on Friday for the ROM Celebrity Golf Tournament, which I think is going to be pretty cool. Speaking of music, there's a ton of musicians.
Yeah, it's a bummer,
songwriters.
man. I saw the list, and it's like, damn, I'm missing out.
Like the former lead singer of Chicago.
Yep, Journey. Former lead singer Journey. Yeah, no big deal. Don't Stop Believing. You kidding me?
And there were some big bands
Yeah.
and names like
Who knows? Peter Gabriel might be there. Guys everywhere.
I'm going to have to do my research before that show. I was kind of hoping you'd be able to lend a hand.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
I think even some NFL guys, like it might be like Sterling Sharp.
Sterling Sharp,
those
which
folks.
obviously I could bring up my autograph story with him, but I won't be around
Maybe you
for
have to
that
call
now.
in.
I'm going to have to call in and share the story with him.
And,
Yeah.
so we will have some fun out there at the ROM Celebrity Golf Tournament. They do something similar on the West Coast. It's for St. Jude's Research Hospital, and it's really a big thing. And they're trying to start it here on the East Coast, and they picked St. Augustine, the World Golf Village, to do it with a lot of big celebrities. So I think it's a Thursday night, a Friday night thing, a Saturday and Sunday golf tournament, and I think it's going to be a big event as they grow. This is the first year. We're partners with them on the TV side as well as CBS 47 and Fox 30. So we're looking forward to that. And you can come out, you can get on the ROM Celebrity Golf Tournament, look that up online, and you can come on out and be a part of some of the festivities. And all the donations and dollars go to St. Jude's Research Hospital.
Will you be taking part in that as far as golfing too, or not?
Well, not because I'm going with Ty to Fort Myers. He's got a tournament down in Fort Myers, so I
Cool.
can't do the golf part.
It never ends, does it, for you?
No,
Yeah.
no, but it's fun.
A lot of
I love
baseball.
it.
Yeah,
I love it.
good.
All right, the CBA.
Yeah.
If you're a player right now, it's 2019 season. That's happening.
Yeah.
2021 is the predicted work stoppage when this thing runs out.
Yeah.
What's the thought that I think this has been going on quietly for about a year or so, at least what I've heard.
Yeah.
But there's more talk now that the NFLPA is telling players to, hey, make sure you plan accordingly.
Do you want
this could be a work stoppage for a year.
Do you want the inside info here, Brett? 'Cause
Yes, I do.
I mean, I don't care about dishing it. I really don't.
That's what we want.
Yeah. So do you want to know what they're fighting for, supposedly?
This is where I
From-
wanted to go with this conversation.
Yeah.
You're very good at this.
Yeah.
What you got?
Well, you know, I met you.
What are they fighting for?
I have my ear to the ground, and listen, I'm not talking about anything that's like unheard of. You know, like, it's not like I'm breaking any news or anything like that. I mean, this is
Tell
all.
people you are. They'll believe it.
Okay, I'm breaking news right now on ESPN 690. So grab your kids, grab your parents, whatever you got to do. Grab somebody. I'm about to break some news here. In my opinion, there's three things right now that the NFLPA and the players are fighting for. Number one is just the overall piece of the pie. Because, and you can go back and look at the agreements here in the CBA. I'm not sure if it's actually public or not, but the big thing with the last lockout that happened was that the NFL players wanted a bigger piece of the pie. Well, and by that I mean like the overall revenue, basically, right? So when I say when we formerly, which I'm not we anymore, but when they agreed for a new CBA, it was understood that we would get 50% of what the NFL made, and then the ownership or whoever else would get the other 50%. So 50% for the players, 50% for the ownership. Well, what happened was that there was some formalities in the contract that said they would get a certain percentage unless these, and I think they called them escalators, were met. So basically, if the price broke a new ground, then the owners would get an extra bonus. So by the time it was all said and done, because the NFL is probably the biggest money-making sport in the entire, well, I don't know about soccer, but it's probably the biggest money-making sport. Yeah. Oh, no. Roger Goodell's trying to shut me down. All right.
All right, I guess you lost us for a couple of. Seconds there, so apologies for that. We dropped out here at Southampton on the live show. Thanks for catching that, Scott.
Roger Goodell's trying to shut me down. I cannot be silenced. I will
So
share.
Austin says he's about to break news on the CBA, and bam, we went silent.
Yeah.
I mean,
Roger's got hitters everywhere out here,
It's
man.
amazing.
Roger's got hitters everywhere. No, it's all good. Well, hey, here's take two. So, listen, I think there's three things that the NFL players are fighting for with this new CBA agreement. Now, there's going to be a lot more minor things, but three things really stick out to me from what I've been hearing. And if you go back to the lockout, this would have been, I think, 8-9 years ago? Or 10 years?
2012.
Yeah, 2012. The biggest thing that players like myself, we were fighting for, it was to get a fair piece of the pie. Because the thought was the owners are making way too much money, and the players are putting their health at risk, and we were making enough money. So the agreement was that the players would make 50%, and the owners would make 50%. Everybody's happy. Cool. Well, what ended up happening was that with some of the language in that contract, there was a thing called escalators. And basically what the escalator stated that if there was like a
like a ceiling that broke from the money being made in the NFL, well, then that bonus would go towards the owners. Well, we know right now the NFL is probably the most money-making sport in the entire world, maybe soccer, but from a standpoint of a professional league, I think it's the NFL. So when that happened, I think the NFL players were like 47-something%.
It was 47%.
Is that what it was?
Yep.
See, I know my stuff.
That was good.
I got you,
That
man.
was good.
And the owners made more than that. So I think going forward now, with the new CBA coming out, there's going to be a different language, going to be a different terminology where if there are escalators, those escalators are going to work for both the players and the ownership, where we're getting 50-50 right down the middle. There's going to be no escalators where someone's making more, someone's making less. I think the fair thing to do would be 50-50. So that's the first one.
Okay, and let me tee you up for a couple of things.
Sure.
Because the CBA stuff can be very confusing.
Yes.
But I do think because people see this coming, and because there have been big stories and issues, and because the NFL is so popular right now, you'd be crazy. Work stoppages really hurt sports.
Yeah.
It hurt Major League Baseball big time back in
Hockey, too.
'94.
Hockey.
It's hurt hockey. But Major League Baseball hurt so much that they had to turn the other cheek on steroids and all that to get home runs back in the game just to be able to recoup the game of Major League Baseball. Wow, so we keep dropping, huh? My gosh, what's going on here? You've been pretty good today, right?
Yeah. Dude, let me see the tats, dude. That's awesome, man. Go ahead.
Should we put the
Dude, that's
logo
awesome.
still in there though?
The shoes, too. I think that's awesome. Your guy crushes those, man. He's good. Your guy crushes those. He's good.
Yeah, it's fun. All right, so Scott, we've hit this break, obviously. Okay. I gotta get that. Hey Scott, can you flag that Southampton one right there? Because it gets cut off somewhere in there. I don't know how that happened. Yeah, thank you. All right, battling here in the final hour at the.
Roger's not having it, man. I'm telling you. Roger Goodell's got hitters everywhere.
Jeez, every time we try to talk about the CBA, it goes crazy. So hopefully it won't happen again, but happens from time to time on the road. Thanks for your patience. Brett Martineau, Austin Lane here. Scott back in the studio, filling in for Coos, who's just worn out and couldn't get back in time from losing on the golf course today. But thanks for hanging with us on ESPN 690. Back to the CBA talk. And to refresh real quick, I'll give you the bullet points. After the 2020 season, the CBA expires. There's anticipation that there could be a pretty lengthy work stoppage in 2021, which means we could be without football. Austin was part of this when he played in the NFL back after the 2011 season. There was a 5-month lockout. And you were talking about the revenue. Basically, you want a 50-50 split, owners and players, and it's like 53-47 right now. So the idea potentially for the players is to get it to 50-50, which would increase salaries. Right?
Of course. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just think of how much the NFL makes. Yeah,
3% doesn't sound like a lot.
Yeah.
But when you're talking billions of dollars, that's spreading the wealth quite a bit. And my view has always been, you've got to take care of the guys at the bottom.
Of course. That's any good business, Brett.
Minimum is fine. But these guys are putting themselves through the same dangerous game. They're putting their bodies through the same thing as the $10 million guy.
Yeah.
And I know you earn money, and your resume speaks for itself, and you get more money. What I would like to see, I'm okay with the Antonio Browns and everybody else making the money they make. What I would like to see is those guys that are on the bottom third of the roster, maybe it's the bottom half of the roster, be bumped up and be taken care of. Because the bottom line is, you can say all you want, and I know it's skewed. It's not necessarily real world. It's not minimum wage. It's not doing some jobs that people do, and people blue collar work hard at their jobs and try to make ends meet. I understand that. But in this scenario, $450,000 job in the NFL sounds great, but it doesn't set these guys up for the rest of their life. It's not, and it's what people think it does. It says, hey, I'm a pro athlete. Okay, you're set for the rest of your life. You're rich. You're driving around in Lamborghinis and living in big houses. It's not the way it works. A guy might play for 6 months at $450,000, and that's it.
Well, you got to pump the brakes. So you say $450,000, but some of that's going to your agent. You got to pay taxes unless you're in the state of Florida.
Taxes. Yeah, but you still have to pay taxes in other states.
Exactly. So you got to pay taxes in other states that you play in. So it's not $450,000. And listen, I don't know the percentages how much you want to cut off that, but it's a substantial amount. Okay, so it's not just we're all millionaires here. That's not the way it works at all.
It's still a good chunk of money if you're making a normal living, but you're
not
crashing your head into a wall every day, and whatever living you're making is my point.
Exactly.
So it's not relative, and it also doesn't set you up for the next 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
look at me. I'm at ESPN 690 radio right now, just trying to make ends meet. I'm trying to make it. Trying to put food on the table right now, Brett. I'm a prime example. I'm the prime example right now. I'm trying to play golf just to put food on the table for my family.
And before this, he was driving Uber.
I was driving Uber. What do you want me to do?
And you played 5 years in the NFL.
You better believe it.
So anyway, that's my. I feel like the players should get more, but I'm talking about the bottom half of the roster, or whatever part of the roster.
So so that's going to come in point number 3. Actually, we'll talk about that a little more. Point number 2, and listen, I understand people may want to shake their heads at this one and think it's not that big of a deal, but it absolutely is, and that's the term medical marijuana.
Absolutely.
I think cannabis. CBD oil, whether THC active or not, is going to be a big topic. And then that's what I've heard from former NFL players and current NFL players, is that they're going to try to push, since it's being legal now in states, that the NFL is going to be a lot less, strict on marijuana.
Yeah.
Because it is used as a tool for recovery. It is used to help pain, help depression, help dementia. There's really a lot of symptoms that are associated with banging your head against the wall 24/7. So I think that's going to be a big talking point going forward as well.
Well, and I think you nailed it. By the way, I think that's when the players win. I think that I think that will be I think the NFL, if it's a negotiation like negotiations work, I think they'll play a little hardball on that, but are willing to give that. I think marijuana will be one they'll be willing to give up. And we did this a few weeks ago back on our show. We talked about medical marijuana.
Absolutely.
And we had a conversation for a few segments about it. And we also said, what do the other leagues do? And what was fascinating to me is the NHL, I think, above all other leagues. NBA, surprisingly to me, was the most
surprisingly really strict, but at the same time, you can't name a lot of guys that have been suspended.
So, and that's the most strict.
Yeah.
The NFL is not super strict against marijuana.
And listen, you only get tested once a year in terms of street drugs. So if you pass it, say in training camp, you're good the rest of the year.
But the NHL doesn't even really test for it.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what we read on.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I think that will be one they will give up for sure.
Scott, with the on-point music playing background.
Here's the deal. Scott concerned me because we've broken up a couple of
No,
times.
for sure.
So I was like, wait a minute, did we just happen again? And so he was just coming in with some clever music.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
exactly. Stoner music, as my mom calls it, so she appreciates
But
it.
okay, so we hit three things: revenue,
Well, we had two,
medical marijuana,
Yeah.
and I started to hit the salaries of the lower,
Yes.
the average player. if you will.
So here's where I think that there's going to be a push, and you probably have to find some kind of common ground between it, but it's actually guaranteed contracts. I think there's going to be a push for guaranteed contracts, or at least a guaranteed bonus or something if a player gets cut from a team, because that's a big deal too as well, Brent. I mean, as you've seen it firsthand with the Jaguars, like players, sign this big deal, and all of a sudden maybe they get hurt, maybe for whatever circumstances they kind of fall off a little bit, and those contracts don't get honored. And if they get cut, if they get released, they don't see that money. As opposed to maybe a coach or somebody who gets fired, I think those contracts, he gets the guaranteed money. So I know there's a big discrepancy there, and I think there's going to be a fight for getting guaranteed money going forward.
If I were to negotiate with you on that,
Yeah.
do you think the players' union will give up a little bit of guaranteed money for extra roster spots?
So here's where I wouldn't mind to see them go. I get the roster spot idea. I think that's a genius idea, and maybe that's something that they're going to argue about as well, because you can always have more roster spots.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Now, by the way, from the ownership standpoint, you tell me why not. Well, that's benefits, that's travel, that's a lot of different things.
It adds up. Yeah, especially we talk about pensions, things like
all
that. So, but where I can see them going is that they're going to push for the guaranteed contract, but I wouldn't be surprised if they had some kind of thing in writing where they say, all right, so let's say a player, free agent deal, let's say he signs a $10 million contract, all right, $10 million. And let's say for whatever reason he doesn't live up to that contract and he gets cut by the team that same season. Let's say for whatever reason he doesn't sign anywhere else, so now he's out of a job. If he doesn't sign with the team in a certain amount of time, or maybe even the year, he gets like maybe 50%, 60% of that money that he was guaranteed, or that he was set before. So I can see him going that direction, but once again, I'm not really keen to that yet.
All right, two things real quick, and we'll talk a lot more about this.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, and I think it's fascinating talking about it with you,
Yeah.
and I didn't even really place it until we're talking about it, but, I mean, you lived through this thing.
Well, it was something I took very seriously because, I mean, granted, I make all the jokes all the time, but I do take my money very seriously, and then I do care what happens to it and where it's going. So it's something that I really keep my ear to the ground, and especially being part of the Shield still, I'm trying to see what's happening to my brothers as well.
Yeah, and not only that, you get educated on it when you go through it.
Exactly.
Whether you had education about it before and you're just a young pup in the NFL,
Sure.
you were 2 years into your career,
Yeah.
you got exposed to that,
Yeah.
which means you learned about it. And I want to know how, and that was a 5-month lockout. That was a 5-month lockout, and it was crazy because the spending spree in free agency, once they unlocked the players, was crazy for like 72 hours.
Yeah.
That's when Paul Posluszny became a Jacksonville Jaguar. He was one of the
Sir.
players that came over here. But two quick thoughts. I love the fact that they've already met a couple of times in the last few weeks. That shows you that they want to get it done, and they don't want... The earlier, the better in this. Don't wait until the end. Don't hold your ground. Let's get this thing done. And I think they do realize that we've got... Football is an unbelievable place.
Yeah.
And don't screw that up. Don't be responsible for screwing that up. Now, you got to fight for what's right.
Yes.
That's fair. But I think both sides believe and know that they have it good right now. They are America's sport right now. And as long as you can keep that going, you don't want to mess it up.
I agree.
And that's why they're meeting early, is my point.
Yeah, that'd be the perfect scenario, right? But at the same time, there is some animosity built up towards the last lockout because there is a feeling that the owners kind of got over the players a little bit, especially with those escalators that were put in place where,
Yeah.
where the players only got
The escalators.
47%.
The owners
And
won that last one.
Yes, the owners won that.
The owners
yeah.
usually win this, by the way.
Well, exactly. But so here's my point, and I'm not sure if it's changed 4 or 5 years since I've been in the locker room, but I assume it's still the same. There's almost a feeling, and you see it sometimes, whether it's with the Panthers, the Houston Texans, where it's almost like the owners against the players, right? Like they're like it's like this hierarchy, and yeah, I mean you have your bottom guys that are like your scout team players, and you have your star players that are in the middle, and you have the owners that are way on top. And even with like the star players that are on top, there's always been, I think, a disconnect between the players and the owners. Now, that's not to say there's not some good owners out there, because I'm sure there is. You know, I think Robert Kraft's a good owner, obviously, because he has so many championships. I think Shad Khan is respected by the players in that locker room. But I'm just saying from an overall front, I think there is a little disconnect between owners and players. And going forward, when you need the owners' cooperation and the players' cooperation to kind of come to terms, I think that could take longer than people expect.
Well, let's be blatantly honest here too, and I'm just stating the facts. The reason why there's a disconnect is because it's an old rich guy league.
Yeah.
Played with young. I don't know if conservative and liberal want to come into play, because I don't think everybody's a liberal that plays. But I'm just saying it's a young league. It's a young man's game,
Yeah,
and it's a diverse
young man's game. Well, let's be honest though, it's a young man's violent game.
That is spearheaded, that is run by rich men who probably didn't play the game, who aren't sacrificing their bodies. Now, that's one way to look at it. I'm not taking away from the owners, because a lot of those owners were self-made. Shad Khan, perfect example. Started in a garage and worked his way up to the business. The dude's a hustler. The dude's a hard worker. I'm not taking that away from him. I'm just saying, from being in a locker room where you're sacrificing your body, and then you look up and you see the owners asking for more money or trying to screw the players over, that's what rubs the players the wrong way.
Yeah, one other thought, and we're not going to get into this right now because we don't have a lot of time, but we'll do it. And we're going to talk about this topic a lot, because I think it's a fascinating one, especially as more things come out. And what I want to do this next month is talk to some former players when we have them on, former Jags players, and see what they have to say about it. But there is one name that also has created division between owners and players, and that's Colin Kaepernick.
Yes.
So that whole situation created a disconnect.
Yes.
So where does that land us in the CBA talks and eventually in a potential work stoppage or a deal getting done?
Yeah.
We will see. We will see.
And I just want to say one more thing about that too, Brent, because I talked about it before on the show, and I know we got South Beach Gary waiting on the phone. We'll get to him in a second, but this is important. I think going forward, and I've said it before, we have Military Appreciation Month. We have Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And to be fair, those are great causes. But let's be honest, the NFL initiated Breast Cancer Awareness Month to try to make more money off selling pink stuff. And only a percentage goes to the suits and
Well, whether they tried to or not, they did. It does.
That's the way it panned out. You can say whatever you want. But I think there needs to be some kind of racial awareness month where, maybe it's like a different color. I don't know, like a teal, whatever color you want to use. I don't care. But use like a racial awareness month, and instead of promoting like breast cancer awareness or the military, which are two great things that need to be promoted, but we promote racial awareness month. And all the gear that you sell with special colors, 100% of that goes to inner cities. 100% of that goes to after-school programs, getting kids off the streets. And you can also donate some to the police as well. And I feel like if you do that, it shows that you make an effort. You actually care about it. And if the NFL comes forward and does that, the owners are saying, hey, you know what? We hear you guys. We heard Kaepernick. We may not agree with him, and we may have said, if players take a knee, you're off the team, whatever. But we hear you guys, and here's what we're trying to do to help make it a better place.
In fairness, there have been some initiatives taken by teams.
There was the cleats thing, the my cause, my cleats.
Yeah.
But I think
teams have also donated like $500,000.
No, absolutely.
$1 million have toward things.
But my question is, why isn't the Shield
make it league-wide?
initiated?
Yes. I agree with you. I think it's a hard thing to not agree with, and I think if the owners presented it, the players presented it that way, it would be a hard thing to turn down.
Let's go. Austin Lane for NFLPA chairman. Let's make it happen. No,
he wants a different job.
I'm good. No, I'm all set. That's too much arguing for me, dude.
It's Winston, right? Winston's the guy.
Yes.
Winston?
I think Eric Winston is like the representative.
He's the big player.
Yeah, he is the player.
Obviously, DeMaurice Smith is the NFLPA.
Correct.
President or chairman or whatever it's called. South Beach Gary on the line before we end the show on a Wednesday here from Southampton. What's up, man? Hello, South Beach Gary, you there?
May not be there. Are we there?
We may have cut out.
Well, if not, you want me to get in my stay in your lane real quick? Because I have a stay in your lane. All right.
Hey, we got you back.
Hey, Scott.
When did we drop?
When did we drop?
No, we just dropped again. What the heck is going on here? What's that? Say that again. Just dropped you for another. Okay, that's fine. We'll come back. We'll get South Beach Gary if he's still there, and then we'll end on Stay in Your Lane. Hey, do me a favor. If we drop out toward the end of the show, just say, hey, there's some technical issue. We're back in studio tomorrow. Close out the show. I tell you what, is there a chance that this access unit needs to be taken a look at?
You think?
I mean, that's now we've done about 40 shows on the road, and the last 3 have been a disaster.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not this.
Today wasn't bad, but the other ones felt bad.
What part cut out did they say when I said I want to be in the NFL?
Right after that. So
okay,
really,
cool.
it was about end.
Okay, so at least we got my point across of the.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad stop and go in this time.
All right. As long as we got the racial awareness part across, that's good. Sweet.
I might have to tell Nick we might have to get this thing looked at. I heard the other guys actually at the other radio station, they were having problems like 2 or 3 consecutive times on the road with their unit.
Okay.
Not our station, but over at 1010.
Yep.
And so, and they had to have it taken a look at. So I'm wondering if we need to maybe do the same. Huh.
So, Brent, that Fighter Fest, it's June 29th. It's Saturday at Daytona.
It's in Daytona.
I'm going to go to that. Do you want me to, I mean, if you tell me who to reach out to, I'll reach out to them and try to get the credentials.
Well, you had talked to the same, it's probably the same
People? Okay. Yeah.
I would inquire with them, and if you need me to jump in, let me know. The other thing is, ask them if there's anywhere we could go live from, if we go down.
Well,
No, actually, I think on the 28th we're going to Wicked Barley.
okay.
That Friday, we're doing the beer can release potentially on that
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah, because it's on a Saturday. So, yeah, that's. Well, we did do the one in Jacksonville, though. The Fight for the Fallen.
Yeah, the only problem with that is I think we're off the air.
We're up there.
Hey, I just lost you.
Jinxed us.
Hey,
We're here.
Hey, we're back, I think, for a moment. Man, it's getting bad down here
It is.
at the golf club in Southampton. You still there with us, Scott? Okay.
Bring us
I can
home,
never
man.
tell.
We got
There's
it.
like this on this machine. There's like a blinking green light, and you're just like living by the blinking green light. Like if it doesn't blink, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I think our connection's really good. If
Yeah.
it blinks, you're like, oh boy, I think it might go off any second.
Yeah,
So-
it's kind of like in Jurassic Park, you know, when it stopped blinking and everybody got out. It was a stressful time for everybody, kind of what we're going through right now.
We've been on the road a lot on the show.
Road
Last
warriors,
couple-
dude.
Last couple of times, it's been dropping out a little too much for my liking, so I might have to get the mechanic to look at it. I can do that.
Okay. I mean,
Do I have the power to do that?
well, be honest. Are you the mechanic? Because you pretty much do everything else on the show.
I cannot do that.
Let's go on YouTube
I
and
am
look
not-
it up. I'm sure you can
that
figure out how to
I
fix
can't
it.
do. Hey, did South Beach Gary hang up or hang on? What do you think, Scott? Wow, he's still hanging. Hey,
Song of the day, Peter Gabriel, bring it on. Let's go. Cause I love you, baby. Yeah. Well, Gary, as far as paying your star players, let's be honest here. The biggest star is Tom Brady. Tom Brady came out and said he wanted to take a pay cut so his other players could get paid as well.
They are. That is
Oh,
true.
well-
Chandler Jones.
No, absolutely. Well, okay, and I agree with that, absolutely. But no, I mean, and that's a great point. But let's be honest, though. Why would you pay somebody if you get the same kind of player for a cheaper price? I mean, remember when Randy Moss went over there? Randy Moss took a pay cut because it's the Patriots culture. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, we got off that topic a little bit, and I like it, and thanks for bringing it back. You know, Ricky Fowler is a great one. That's a good. Golf would like to see Ricky Fowler win a major, I think, too. I think he's the next guy.
Uh-oh.
Hey, there
we're
he
good.
is. There he is.
Scott, keeping everything at bay. We appreciate it.
Hey,
Yeah.
Scott. All right, South Beach Gary. Sorry, I don't know what else he was saying.
Yeah, he was asking another question. Scott, did you hear the question he was getting ready to ask? Or? Scott, we're here.
All right. Hey, Scott. I don't think we're going to count this. You know, we might have to move our 100th show to Tuesday because I'm not going to count this.
This
show
is a
as
half a show.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
we are. I didn't know if you. You're my only measurement of anything that really works right now is if I hear your voice. All right. Hey, we did. Well, other than that, it's just nothing that we hear back here. But so you are the standard right now. Don't you forget it. We appreciate it. We got a couple minutes left.
Sure.
Gary brought back a topic we had at the beginning of the show, and we said, who would you like to see win a championship that hasn't won? And Phillip Rivers, we thought in the NFL. We said J.J. Watt, maybe someone would feel that way down the road in his career. We said a Frank Gore in the NFL.
Yeah.
South Beach Gary just brought up Ricky Fowler. I think that's a good one.
But he hasn't, I mean, he still seems young to me.
He is young, but it would be good for the sport of golf for Ricky Fowler. He's created such a buzz with his fandom that I think it would be cool to see. And
What about John Daly? Has John Daly ever won one?
Yeah, he won back
He
in the
won
day.
back
But I
then,
mean,
yeah.
that I don't know if you have those guys like. Yeah, Tom Watson, when he knocked on the door winning the Open Championship, that would have been cool to see again. But he'd already won so many. So that's we're talking about first-time guys, and that's why, like, even I thought about Phil Mickelson winning the U.S. Open would be good because it's the only one. He's been a bridesmaid there so many times, and he hasn't won it. But that doesn't really count either because he's got Masters and he's got other major championships. He's got 5 of them, I think.
Cool.
So, baseball. Baseball. If you go back in the day, like Cal Ripken, those kind of guys. Heck, the Red Sox had a ton of guys that didn't win for so long. I'm not sure if there's that old-time vet in baseball because
now.
it's such a young man's game at the moment that you sit there and say, man, I wish that guy's had such an unbelievable career. I wish he would win. I'm sure there is.
Yeah, Verlander is right with Houston.
Verlander got this. That would have been a very good one. Yeah.
Nobody else is. What about Clayton Kershaw? Especially with his story, though, man, where he can't keep winning.
That's a good one because as good as he is, that kind of falls into the Ricky Fowler category.
Yeah,
because even though he's not old yet,
no, but it seems
as
like
dominant
every
as
year
that
it's
guy's
the
been,
narrative
he's a
where he
Hall of
loses
Famer.
it, yeah.
So you'd like to see some of the greatest players of the generation, the era, win, and Clayton Kershaw would be a pretty good call, I think, in baseball. How about basketball? Any come to mind in basketball right now? Has Vince Carter ever won?
I don't think so.
I don't think he has.
And if anybody's due for one, it's definitely him.
That would be a good one.
Yeah,
I mean, you'll get to the stars. Like James Harden will win one at some point. Is Chris Paul qualified? Did Ripken win in the early 80s? They won in like 82 or something? They might have. They might have won in 82. As I was saying that, I was kind of wondering. They won in 82 or 83? Early on when he was a rookie? They might have. They might have.
Yeah.
Because Baltimore, believe it or not, was good one time.
Take your word for it.
So in basketball, that's those guys might fit.
Yeah.
Harden doesn't fit to me yet.
No, not at all. Chris Paul a little bit.
Chris Paul could fit, right? Likable guy, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah, for the most part.
People around the league would embrace that.
Yep. I mean, Kawhi's already won his, so. Yeah, no one's really else is sticking out to me right now. I mean, D Wade won his.
Yeah, Derek, like Wade would have been a good one.
Derrick Rose?
Yeah.
Nah, okay. I mean, I'm thinking of the bottom of the barrel here, and I can't think of
Yeah. So anyway, I think each sport always has that, and you wonder, all right,
You
you
want
going
to
to
do
stay
state
real
real
quick? What you got?
All right, so on basketball, Draymond Green comes out with the quote, before you can even reach anything, you have to believe it. You don't just mistakenly become great at something. You probably at one time or another believe that you could be great at that, and then you work to be great at that, and you reach that greatness. But you don't mistakenly become great, and then you start to believe, oh man, I'm great at that. Nah, you believe that before, and you work to get that. So I always believe that, and I work every day to reach greatness. I thought that was a great quote by Draymond Green.
Oh yeah, put it in your bedroom, kids.
Yeah, exactly. It could be kind of one of those inspirational office eagle posters I used to see back in the day. And then last but not least, pump your brakes. Paul Malignaggi, Artem Lobov. Listen, your whole bare knuckle boxing thing coming up. Sweet, whatever. Do bare knuckle boxing. You can talk smack about each other. But Paul Malignaggi, don't spit in your opponent's face. Okay? There's a few things that cross the line, talking about family members and spitting in somebody's face. And whatever repercussions come to you, whether it's Artem Lobov in his game, because a guy rolls in a pretty dangerous circle, whatever happens, man, you can't fault him because you don't spit in somebody's face. That's all I'm going to say.
That's pump your brakes for sure.
Yes.
Hey, drive safe on your way home. Thanks for hanging out with us here at the Golf Club of Southampton. Had a lot of fun today, and it will be the site of our Action Sports Shack Stream 18 as well on September 16th. Go to ActionSportsShackStream18.com for more information on that. Back in studio tomorrow. Scott, thanks for filling in today. And for Austin Lane, I'm Brett Morgan.
Long Ball Express shutting down. We'll see you guys later.
Fox 30 and CBS 47 later tonight. All right, thanks for battling.
So somebody commented on my putting video. He would have made the first putt if his wife did.
What's that? Oh, that's cool. Thank you. Appreciate it. You've been a part of like 15 of them since Kuz has never.